take you to the place inside your mind where thoughts divide and mysteries unwind. Join us every Monday evening right here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you will catch the Fenton Perspective with our great host, Lorian Fenton. Come listen in as she shares her amazing stories from the past to present, along with all of her guest secrets to the future. That's the Fenton Perspective every Monday evening right here from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Revolution Radio. Oh, and you don't need to expect us. We're already here.
There are three types of people in this world: sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. Now, some people prefer to believe that evil doesn't exist in the world, and that if it ever darkened their doorstep, they wouldn't know how to protect themselves. Those are the sheep. And then you got predators. They use violence to prey on the weak. They're the wolves. And then there are those who've been blessed with the gift of aggression and overpowering needs to protect the flock. These men are a rare breed who live to confront the wolf. They are the sheepdog. And we're not raising any sheep. And I will whoop your ass if you turn into a wolf. Don't we protect our own?
Well, I'll stand up next to a mountain and I'll chop it down with the edge of my hand. Well, I'll stand next to a mountain and chop it down with the edge of my hand. Pick up all the pieces and make an island. My name is Razor in the sand. Yeah. 'Cause I'm a blue child. Lord knows I'm a blue child.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep Revolution Radio going. Find out the website. Get over to the website. Smash that donation button. Revolution.radio, freedomslips.org, freedomslips.net. Get in there and smash that donation button. Get in there and make a contribution in some fashion. We would really help us keep this Hawk's dream alive. My name is The Mechanic. We are joined tonight by Sergeant Miller.
Johnny, catch! Oh no! Let's tell Mom it was Billy's mistake.
You're making the mistake.
Flint!
Anyone can have an accident, but lying makes it worse.
But Mom will be upset.
She'll be even more upset if you lie. And how would you feel if Billy got punished? Face up to what you've done. The easy way out?
We'll tell her we did it.
Remember, it's better to tell the truth.
And that's no lie. Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
All right, I hope everybody heard that. Mic check, mic check. Yeah, this is Sergeant Miller coming in loud and clear. Let's see, we can get a 5x5 in chat. All right, well, we should be good, yeah. Well, it's May 27th, Memorial Day, here at revolution.radio, freedomslips.org, freedomslips.net. And this is Sergeant Miller, along with my partner, Jer Bear. I got Jer Bear in the building with me. How you doing, Jer?
I'm doing just great. It's good to hear from you, Sergeant. Let's kick out a good movie, a good show, and we couple riding shotgun. So
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, it's Memorial Day, and you know, you
like I say, I got
you wanna give out the
like I s-
call-in number?
if you'd like to call in tonight, the number is 702-605-4436, ladies and gentlemen. 702-605-4436. Yeah, I got my ribs marinated in some rub, sucker wolf, and some cornbread for planning tomorrow, and some tater salad, and maybe something else.
Oh, you're
Cornbread,
doing a
and
big.
I'm going southern. Yeah, and I'm gonna cook them real slow in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
How's the other fellows? But anyway, introduce the other fellows, and I'm here with you.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
muting.
yeah, I'm sharing with Deacon. Deacon has got the Rumble up there. I hope everybody doing all right in Rumble, and I'm coming in loud and clear. Let's see, just mic check it. Yeah, we should be good. I was waiting for a 5x5 in chat. I guess I want to have everybody doing. Yeah, like I said, this is Revolution Radio. You listen to Sergeant Miller's First Formation. Make sure you go to the website and become a supporter. Become a part of Rev Radio. Got the archive. Archives are free on the website. That's freedomslips.org, freedomslips.net. You go to their website and the archives are free. And then we got the Matrix chat. Shout out to everybody that's in chat or that was participating in chat. Had some good shows. Uh Thanks to Why Not on the show before me, along with Tom, and they had Mechanic's brother on there. They was having a good conversation. So yeah, today is
When
Memorial
when
Day.
was that? When was that? Just earlier tonight or a few days
Yeah,
ago?
before us, the
Oh, I
show
didn't know he
before us.
had a show on. Thanks
Mm,
for letting me know.
yeah. So yeah, Memorial Day. There you go. The day to respect the fallen soldiers that passed away. And I know I got a couple soldiers that I had one soldier passed away in December by suicide. So yeah, you got to remember those soldiers also. Yeah, I had a specialist Randall. That was back in December, and it was cold blooded. Man, shotgun to the mouth, man. You know, it's real. Is a real epidemic with suicide,
Say that again,
PTSD.
Sarge. What happened again? I'm sorry.
No, I had a soldier that died in December with a shotgun blast to the face, suicide. So yeah,
Oh shit. Was he the only one that took himself out, or did he take anybody else out with him?
nah, it's just himself.
I'll be damned. God
Yeah,
bless that soldier.
yeah. So yeah, it's Memorial Day, and let's see what video I can play right quick. Uh, you want to go through some history of Memorial Day, or just
Do your
let's
thing.
see.
I'm riding shotgun. Hi, Dave
Yeah,
Ski.
yeah. Let's do that.
Do your thing, sucker wolf. That ain't a bad saying
As
either.
dawn
That's
breaks over America's most hallowed ground, an army assembles to honor those we have lost. Members of the 3rd Infantry Regiment, the Old Guard as they're called, complete a meaningful mission. This tradition fulfilled each year for more than a half-century, known as Flags In. Over just 4 hours, they place a flag a boot's length away from each of more than 250,000 grave sites. The flag they fought for, the flag they're buried beneath, the flag that unites us all.
Every single headstone here at Arlington tells a story, and if they could speak, the words would echo from hillside to hillside. There is a common thread of shared sacrifice and service, which is what makes our nation great.
For soldiers like Master Sergeant Gabriel Holz, it's a solemn duty.
What does that moment mean for you? It's a really humbling experience. You get the chance to look at the headstone and read what's on the headstone. See that name. Yes, you see the name, you see the dates, you see the things that they've accomplished, the sacrifices that they made.
For Holz, family and service are synonymous. A 4th-generation soldier, Saluting his Papa George makes this personal.
My grandfather was interred here in November of 1993. And then 2 weeks later, my grandmother was interred here in 1993. So it definitely means a lot to me to be here.
Holst planted his grandfather's flag for the first time last year.
It was a little emotional. It was the first time I'd seen that headstone since I was 8 years old.
Wow.
So being able to go there and just have that moment, it meant a lot to me.
Sergeant Victor Pratt is paying his respects, including to his father, Private First Class Milton Pratt.
When these grounds go from the way they look every day to those flags coloring it red, white, and blue, what does that image represent?
He's still remembering all the fallen heroes of America.
We don't leave anybody behind in America, do we?
No, we don't. America always take care of his own.
Memorial Day dates back to 1868. Then the annual commemoration was known as Decoration Day, a way to remember those who died in the Civil War, each grave decorated with flowers. Today, the cemetery is embracing a new tradition. Flowers of Remembrance Day allows all Americans to honor those who served and sacrificed. Invited on this one day of the year to lay flowers at the tomb of the unknown soldier.
Those flowers represent us.
They do, and they bind us together the same way the cloth of the flag and the paper of the Constitution do.
And what strikes you when you're at Arlington is that every day is Memorial Day at Arlington National Cemetery, but on this day, each of us can participate in those honors. As you heard, visitors can place flowers at the Tomb of the Unknowns until 4 this afternoon. And Colonel Bonetti, he told me that he brought his son last year and reflected on what a proud Papa moment it was just to share this tradition.
All right. Yeah, just a little history on that. Let's see. All right. I wanted to...
Sarge.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you get the chat room for Rumble from Deacon so we can put it in Revolution's chat for the gentlemen that are asking for it? The Rumble.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it for you. I wanted to give some shout out to Pat Tillman. I hope you remember Pat Tillman. I found this.
Sure do. They named they got a road down to Arizona from Vegas called the Tillman Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, let me play this right quick.
My grandfather, though, I didn't get to know him that well, but I do know that he always questioned and believed that Roosevelt knew about the Japanese coming, and that always stuck with him because he was super patriotic. And another one of my heroes, Pat Tillman, who left the NFL to join the Army, his death is very suspicious as well, in that, not the fact we know that he was killed by friendly fire, but the way they handled his body afterwards, his uniform, confiscating his last journal, using his death to prop up the war propaganda. There's been a lot of great people in history who are super patriotic, who've questioned their government, and I think that's what I've done since I was a kid.
And pardon my ignorance, I didn't even know that about Tillman's journal. So that was confiscated by the
his uniform was burned and his journal was confiscated. That's in John Krakauer's book, Where Men Win Glory, which is a fantastic book. And one of my best friends in the entire world, AJ Hawk. AJ grew his hair out, him and his buddy, in 2004 as an ode to Pat, because Pat always had long hair, played for the Cardinals, left a multi-million-dollar contract to go fight Al Qaeda and Taliban. Gets over there and's like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm guarding these poppy fields. It's not what I signed up for. I miss my wife. I miss being in the States. This is not what I thought we were going to be doing over here. And then some really negligent maneuvers happened and split up his unit, and he ended up being with one of the members of the Afghani army who was their kind of guide. And a guy saw the guy in some dim lighting on the ridge who was with Pat. They fired on him. Obviously, Pat and the Afghani thought that they were getting fired on by Taliban, so fired back, and ended up Pat got killed. His brother was not told right away that it was friendly fire. It's all in the book. It's a fascinating book. I mean, it's one of the only books I've ever cried reading, just because it's so. I mean, John's an incredible writer. He wrote Into Thin Air. He wrote Into the Wild. He wrote Under the Banner of Heaven.
I read those three. I never read the Tillman book.
Yeah, the Tillman book is incredible. But I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Just that there's so many people that really love this country that have gotten disenfranchised. I think that's part of it.
Who've been betrayed by their leaders.
Yeah.
There you go. That was Aaron Rodgers giving a little shout out to Pat Tillman. You know, today is Memorial Day. So yeah, so if you had family members and grandparents, fathers, mothers, that passed away in service, much respect. There's so many stories out there, And I seen I want to give Davesky said his mother passed away on Memorial Day 7 years ago. Wow,
you need to
something
click
else.
on the link there in the chat, please.
To share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
How you doing? How you doing, big Deacon John? What's the skinny?
I'm good. How you doing? You
All
gotta
right.
click on the link.
Same
or
old,
you won't
same
be
old.
live.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I want to go over to that website. If you guys can put it in Revolution Radio's chat room, I'd be much obliged. Please. Ain't got no satisfaction. My cousin Vinny, my cousin Victor was killed by friendly fire in Vietnam. My dad had a little bit of juice because my mom kicked him, made him get out of the Air Force, and he only had 3 years to go. He only had like 3 years to go to get his full pension, and my mom got him out. But what he did some things over there in the Philippines that he busted him and his Filipino partner. I probably mentioned this before. They busted under the where all the piers were, the black market. So they were supposed to send him to Ohio and my family, but they screwed him around. But one thing, he had enough juice that when his two oldest sons, my two older brothers, who have passed now, one went Air Force, one went Army, right around in the Vietnam era, and they didn't have to go. They didn't go to Vietnam. That's what I'm saying. They were like had a pass. One went to Puerto Rico and one went to Germany, and so I guess he had a little juice left from what they tried to when they sabotaged him when he busted all those. What happened? He busted all those. Busted the black market that had all these high-ranking high-ranking generals and upper elans or whatever you call them. In that's where it backfired on them, and they didn't offer him all that rewards and shit because that's the way they play the game.
Okay, so we should be good, right, Deacon? I was just double checking.
So the box you got, to click on the link, there's some stuff at the bottom so you can share your screen.
All right.
Right now, I've got a black screen from you.
I'm sorry I interrupted. But I've been sure paying attention to also to Puff Daddy. I want, like I said earlier, I didn't know. How do you say his name? Surge.
Suge Knight.
I was Shignat. I spaced out that he played. I think he played a defensive lineman for the UNLV Running Rebels back in the 80s. And me and my brothers, we used to take 2 vans and we'd go out and have a tailgate and we'd be eating hot links like a puppy and playing tonk with the 2 vans backed up in a little tent above us. And we'd sit out there and drink our little, all have our pints. They had their Cavassier, I had my Jim Beam, and play cards all afternoon and then go to the game all fucked up, man. I remember I miss those brothers, man. They were so fun. But I don't remember Surge Knight. I just saw that today.
Yeah, he was I think he was offensive lineman.
I think it said that too, but it looked like he was playing defense because he was banging on some. I can't remember the team. I saw a little bit of it, and I don't know if I can find it, but I don't know where you want to go. But that
all right. I found this Pat Tillman whenever you get that.
Okay, Brad, and Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com out there, ladies and gentlemen. Hate skate and donate for us, please. Keep ourselves alive. Good old tune.
So you want to, if you please mute that dialog box that you clicked on to show your video, which you're showing. You want to mute there because you're coming through Skype and you're getting a doubling.
Who is?
I got it on my end.
You got it, Sarge?
All right. So I should be clear. Yeah.
Everything's 100%. Good to go. Go ahead.
All right. There we go. Thank you, sir. All right. Well, that was what I played earlier was Aaron Rodgers talking with Tucker Carlson about Pat Tillman. So I found this about Pat's story. It's just a quick clip. So I just want to share this on Memorial Day. Pat Tillman was a great story that I paid attention to a long time ago. So here we go.
Led the Leland High School football team to a Central Coast Division I championship. Pat was a linebacker who also had a love for literature. His stature was small for the specific football position of linebacker, but good enough to earn the last defensive scholarship spot from Arizona State University. Tillman came into Tempe with a slightly shaggy, sandy California hairstyle, an anvil jaw, and although still deemed undersized in college, he excelled at his position and as a team leader for the Sun Devils. Pat learned playbooks and opposing offensive schemes quickly, and he could tackle the fastest special teams returner, but he also enjoyed debating about religion, politics, and other scholarly topics, which is uncharacteristic of a Division I football player. Pat underwent shoulder surgery after his freshman year, but rehabbed quickly to make 47 tackles in his sophomore season, appearing as a top reserve and not just on special teams. During his junior year in 1997, Tillman had decided to shave his head and matured into a respected leader of his team. He started 11 games and led ASU to the Rose Bowl during an undefeated season while also earning Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. Former ASU teammate Jeremy Stats said, although Tillman was only 5'10" or 5'11" and 200 pounds, he played like he was 260 pounds. He wasn't the fastest player on the team, but he played the game smart. He wasn't going to chase you from behind, but he would use angles and leverage and out-pursue you by playing the game smart. During his senior year, Pat led the team in tackles, was named MVP, second-team All-American, and completed a career that would be good enough for a future induction into the College Football Hall of Fame. Pat was what a student-athlete aspired to be, earning numerous academic honors and completing his degree in just 3.5 years with a 3.85 GPA. He was selected in the 1998 NFL Draft to the Arizona Cardinals with their 7th round pick, 226th overall. Extremely talented, but considered too small to be a linebacker in the NFL, Tillman moved to the safety position. And Pat made a positive impact right away by starting 10 out of 16 games as a rookie, while also pursuing a master's degree in history. In 2000, he was named Sporting News NFL All-Pro with 155 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 9 pass deflections, and an interception that he took back for 30 yards. Pat was without a doubt a late draft gem and an NFL star, but still the unique Pat as he turned down a $9 million contract from the St. Louis Rams to stay loyal to the small market, mediocre Arizona Cardinals and pushed himself in another direction while still on a football roster. Pat Tillman trained and ran a marathon during that offseason, and then the following year set his goal even higher by completing the Blackwater Eagleman Triathlon in Maryland, which was a half Ironman event that served as a qualifier for the legendary Hawaiian Ironman. Why was he competing in an endurance event just a few months after he had 224 tackles for the Arizona Cardinals? What was his rationale for such a difficult endeavor while other NFL players were spending their vacation time laying on the beach? Pat said it was just for the challenge. In the beginning of the 2001 NFL season, the world would change drastically for Americans following the September 11th terror attacks. Pat Tillman watched the events unfold in the Arizona Cardinals media room on that Tuesday morning. And shortly after the attacks, Tillman, a reflective man who used to climb light posts in college to sit, view the landscape, and meditate, told a reporter,
"You know, my great-grandfather was at Pearl Harbor, and a lot of my family has gone and fought in wars, and I really haven't done a damn thing as far as laying myself on the line like that, and so I have a great deal of respect for those that have and what the flag stands for."
In Pat's mind, he was ready to do something bigger than the NFL. He was ready to pursue a career that would drastically change his life and unfortunately end his life far too soon. Pat played the remaining games of that season with a heavy mind and heart. 8 months after the Twin Towers fell, and shortly after returning home from his honeymoon, Pat Tillman turned down a $3.6 million NFL contract from the Arizona Cardinals, traded his cleats and his number 40 jersey in for combat boots by enlisting in the U.S. Army alongside his brother Kevin. The duo committed themselves to a 3-year term as Army Airborne Rangers, a job that was just as dangerous as it was mentally and physically demanding. Pat Tillman instantaneously became the icon of patriotism. Secretary of State Donald Rumsfeld even sent him a personal note commending his bravery. The government was giddy that his name and testimony would promote the war on terror, which would hopefully conjure up future recruits. However, Tillman, once out of a football uniform and into desert camo, immediately stopped talking to the media. He didn't want this to be about him or his sacrifices. Pat Tillman didn't enlist because he felt an overwhelming rush of patriotism fall over him. He didn't seek to be revered as an athlete turned hero. Representing the American flag was in his bloodline. Pat understood the freedom that these men from his family and countless other men and women who had served in the military had given him, the freedom to be who he wanted to be. Pat and Kevin's first deployment came in 2003 to Iraq to support Operation Iraqi Freedom. Tillman had been known to be vocal against the Iraqi war, but he honorably fulfilled his duty that he signed up for. During the Freedom Mission, Pat and Kevin served as important backups in freeing Jessica Lynch. It was found in Tillman's journal that he wrote regarding the buildup of forces around the Lynch rescue was proposed to be a big public relations stunt. Little did he know that a year later, there may have been another stunt conducted in which he would be the center focal point. After returning home for a short time, in 2004, the Tillman brothers were deployed to Afghanistan for Operation Enduring Freedom. The duo was located in the eastern part of the country, near Khost, in an operation called Mountain Storm. It was the evening of April 22nd, 2004. The sun was setting and 27-year-old Pat Tillman would soon take his last breath. According to first reports, there was suddenly an ambush with Pat providing covering fire for fellow soldiers as they escaped from the Rocky Canyon. That ambush led to the tragic death of Pat Tillman and an Afghan contractor in Pat's unit, who was donned in an American uniform, and a fellow radio operator was wounded. Pat's brother Kevin was in another vehicle behind his brother just down the road, but heard gunfire and was soon told that Pat had been killed. The story Kevin was given at the time was that Pat died while stepping out of a vehicle confronting enemy troops. Kevin was quickly flown back to Bagram Air Base and a short time later accompanied his brother's remains back to the United States. The first official report from the military regarding Tillman's death read, he ordered his team to dismount, then maneuvered the Rangers up a hill near the enemy's location. Tillman directed his team into firing position and personally provided suppressive fire. Through the firing, Tillman's voice was heard issuing commands to take the fight to the enemy forces.
This gave his brothers and the downed vehicle time to move off that target. He directly saved their lives with that move.
Immediately following Pat Tillman's death, messy events unfolded that would cause his family and friends to become perplexed and filled with a sense of uneasiness in the information that they were provided. Evidence was destroyed, items such as Pat's uniform, equipment, and notebook, amongst other personal belongings that would have been crucial to an investigation. His family noted in future testimony that his autopsy did not take place according to regulation. The documentation read completely wrong in regards to details about Pat. For example, a gold ring was listed as the wedding band on Pat's left hand when his family and friends knew that Pat wore a platinum ring. In addition, the field hospital report was found to be fabricated and listed were various accounts of what happened the moments that followed Pat being peppered with gunfire. Accounts such as whether or not CPR took place, where and how he was transported following the ambush, and specifically, how and where the bullets hit him. But wait, it gets even crazier, because it was only days after the incident when top officials from the military were aware that Tillman's death was due to friendly fire. On April 29th, Major General Stanley McChrystal, who served as commander of the Rangers Task Force in Afghanistan, along with being the head of Joint Special Operations Command, sent a memo to John Abizide, the chief of U.S. Central Command, telling him to warn everyone all the way up to the President of the United States, George W. Bush, that an investigation will find that it is highly possible that Corporal Tillman was killed by friendly fire. I felt that it was essential that you receive this information as soon as we detected it in order to preclude any unknowing statements by our country's leaders, which might cause public embarrassment if the circumstances of Corporal Tillman's death become public. There was no note in the memo stating that the truth should be told, but only that unknowing statements may cause public embarrassment. Thus, the military attempted to keep the friendly fire discovery quiet. Lieutenant General Stanley McChrystal presented the Silver Star posthumously to Tillman on national television, which is considered to be the third highest military combat decoration, all while giving the account of Tillman's last moments, including the words, "in the line of devastating enemy fire," which turns out was a blatant lie. Why did they, the U.S. military, whose oath include the words that they will bear truth, faith, and allegiance to the same, withhold the truth regarding the incident for 4 more weeks? Perhaps it was because that storyline, the truth, didn't fit the real American hero script of professional athlete turned army soldier who perished a hero all while fighting off the evil enemy. Pat Tillman's family wasn't going to let the United States pull the wool over their eyes and knew shortly after the incident that there was far more to the story. His mother, Mary Tillman, said to Sports Illustrated that they attached themselves to his virtue and then threw him under the bus. They had no regard for him as a person. He'd hate to be used for a lie. I'm not stopping. Mary became vocal in that there was more to the story. She agreed to talk to whatever media outlet would listen, and many of them were interested. She truly believed that there was a conspiracy behind her son's death. She recounted on ESPN Radio's Dan Patrick show, saying, "It became very obvious very early on that they were lying to us. They were only telling one side of the story. They weren't telling the other side." On the Friday before Memorial Day, 5 weeks after the incident, the military admitted that Pat Tillman was killed by friendly fire.
The investigation results indicate that Corporal Tillman probably died as a result of friendly fire.
Mary Tillman said to the BBC at the time, "This was a complete debacle on every level as far as I am concerned. They did not want that to come out. They used that 5 weeks, I believe, to kind of glorify the military. to try to use Pat as a recruiting instrument. Years later, the Pentagon finally released a full report on the events surrounding Tillman's murder. His biological and platoon brother, Kevin, who was also an athlete, a minor league baseball player turned soldier, boldly stood before Congress saying the deception surrounding this case was an insult to the family, but more importantly, its primary purpose was to deceive a whole nation. We say these things with disappointment and sadness for our country. Once again, we have been used as props in a Pentagon public relations exercise. In more than 4,000 pages of documents, including 2,300 pages of testimony, there were shocking revelations that proved that there was perhaps more to the story. Information was uncovered from medical experts suggesting that Pat Tillman was shot at close range and not the 50 yards as initially listed. A theory emerged presenting the question if Pat Tillman was killed via fratricide or via an assassination. These medical experts found that the 3 bullet holes were so close together that experts stated that it was an M16 with American bullets, fired from around 10 yards away, not the M240 machine gun as listed in the report. The question came up of would it be possible to place 3 bullets into one of America's most revered soldiers during a blind ambush? On the contrary, as said before, the first report stated the gunfire took place from about 50 yards away. In football and combat, from 50 yards, you may not be able to see details, but you can certainly recognize a uniform. However, at 10 yards away, you can see many specifics of a person, including the embroidery on pocket flaps. Also, within those 2,300 pages, more particulars emerged, such as very few other soldiers being injured or even grazed by fire. Another thought-provoking note was that Pat Tillman told his comrade, who was also under fire, to shut up and stop sniveling. In addition, the 3-star general who withheld the truth regarding Tillman's death told investigators almost 70 times that his bad memory prevented him from remembering what had happened. That 3-star general was demoted, but not dismissed or forced to retire. The Army finally admitted it had violated its own regulations by waiting more than a month to tell the Tillman family that their son had died as a result of suspected friendly fire, but backpedaled, giving the excuse that they only did it because they were still gathering all of the facts.
Your statement was that I knew about the friendly fire. I knew that there was an investigation ongoing about the potential for friendly fire.
That goes for me too. That's exactly right. And for me as well. Okay.
In 2014, via a Los Angeles Times article, former Army Ranger Stephen Elliott gave his account from his side of within the opposite caravan from Tillman, the caravan of American soldiers who fired upon Tillman's group. The group was ultimately deemed responsible for the friendly fire. Elliott, who had never been in a gunfire fight before, said he followed the lead of his commander and fired at shadowy figures on a hillside. Those figures were Tillman, Brian O'Neill, a specialist who was uninjured by Tillman's side, and the Afghan contractor in their group. Elliott continued saying even if somebody else was identified through forensic science as to have fired the fatal shot, that doesn't change how I feel. I still fired on a friendly position, and that wouldn't change my sense of responsibility. To this day, Pat's family and many of his friends still believe that there is more to the story, and perhaps the full truth was never disclosed. Former Arizona State defensive back, NFL player, and friend of Pat Tillman, Jeremy Statt, who enlisted in the Marines in 2006 in honor of Tillman, stated to the BCC in 2014 that he wouldn't want to be remembered as this mythical unicorn that the American government made up to push their agenda. That's not who Pat was. A statue stands at an NFL stadium in Glendale, Arizona, and another statue has been erected at a Division I football field just miles away in Tempe. These statues are of Pat Tillman outfitted in a football uniform, not the military fatigues in which he gave his life. If you would ask anyone who truly knew Pat, they would have said he would hate those statues. That is because Pat Tillman was an unselfish, socially mindful, and politically aware guy who died serving his country. He was a loyal American who just happened to be a football player. Pat wouldn't want a statue in his honor. However, Pat would be the most proud and honored of the work done in his name via the Pat Tillman Foundation, which carries forward his legacy by giving military service members, veterans, and spouses who embody Pat's principles the educational tools and support to reach their fullest potential as leaders, no matter how they choose to serve. Thank you for watching our latest Dark Stories of the NFL series. If you enjoyed this content, we have a whole playlist of.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out. You know, a little history on Pat Tillman. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing all right. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Matrix chat. Yeah, Dave Ski, I saw your message in chat. Yeah. Yeah, we're just trying to put together a good little decent program. We got about 2 more hours. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun. I got some clips set up. You're listening to Revolution.radio, freedomslips.org, freedomslips.net. Make sure you become a supporter, because this is listener supported alternative internet radio. That's a good title. Hope everyone doing all right. How you doing, Jeff?
There's riding shotgun, and I'm just paying attention. One of the things I'm trying to do best at. But yeah, hey, skate and donate. Don't forget about us.
There you go. There you go.
I guess Bosto, he didn't join us, but we still got D on the side.
Yeah, I just
Producer.
messaged Bosto. I told him join if he can. You know how we do.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, send him the link, and if he joins, we're gonna have a good conversation.
I'm in the Rumble, but I'm trying to find where we're playing. I guess it's viral music or news.
Yeah, we're having I think some
I don't know where
technical
to find it,
difficulty on Rumble. Yeah, Rumble is acting up.
No, but I don't know what to go to where the chat room is. I'm in the main picture, but I don't know what to hit viral. There's a list of all types of topics to hit. So I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just a rookie sometimes. It's a wonder. Also, I was reading about gangsters, and the guy that came out of Oakland Hammer Time, no one messed with him. He was like top dog. No one.
You talking about MC Hammer?
Yeah, Hammer Time. The one said Hammer Time.
Yeah, Hammer.
He had a lot he did a lot of shit with the Oakland A's as a youngster.
Yeah, he was a ball boy when he was young.
Yep, Bat Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. What else is Go ahead.
Yeah, I see you. I see you've been paying attention to a lot of hip hop. I got a little collection put up. We're gonna get into it maybe the second or third hour. I know you.
Yeah, I just was watching. This is why MC Hammer was the most respected and feared rapper. That's I don't know if I shared it with you or not, but it's only 25 minutes long. That takes you back to the early days, It gives it gives the people today that is not as educated on it, the rap shit, how it got started, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
But also, rap was created to get the black guys out of the poor places, out of I'm saying what do you call them? Slums.
Yeah. The
Because
ghetto.
that was the only way to get out. Because it was a good way to get out for them, keeping it legit. But like I say, hombre, it's a wonder sometimes to keep me from going under.
Yeah, you've been in the hip hop rabbit hole. Yeah, there you go, Jeff.
I've been digging it too, because for the reason being, if the consciousness of the United States people, instead of thinking Republican, Democrat, and they got a bigger understanding of what happened with hip hop, the Bloods, the Crips, the sex that that they're getting ready to come on down. I know, they already got Surge Knight in there, and they also have another guy in there, something D. His name's something D. He's doing time, and there's this one guy in there that was there the night that Diddy's wife, ex-wife. I'm messing up. He was at her house when she died, and he was still there when the ambulance came in. What is he doing? They said he hangs out with. I get mixed up, but he just gets mixed up with shit. What's those late? Anyway, I'm messed up. So
no, it's all good.
That's why I ride shotgun now and don't do my show. Go ahead, Josh.
You ain't got that much responsibility. Yeah, there you go.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Let's see. Let me play that little Katt Williams. This is Katt Williams on Shannon Sharp.
I saw it. Yeah. So how old is that bid? Does it say? A couple months ago or a month ago?
It's just a little like a little.
It usually says the time. He went undercover lately. He went and hide because he says fucking. No,
this is from the show. I just wanted to highlight a couple things he said about all truths will come out.
I know, but he did Sasha's show. I don't even know. That sounds like a faggot name, Sasha.
Yeah, Shay.
Shay. I mean, same shit. But I saw Katt Williams come on there, and then also they said he's hiding from Diddy. He's went like quiet. So I don't know. Go ahead. Let's rock and roll.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time. We good now?
Because the people want to know, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
because in 30 years I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
you will tell it.
No, somebody come to tell me. I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it.
There you go. He put it out there. He said, yeah, he been collecting receipts. And then he said, 2024, all truth will be exposed. Yeah. Katt set it off for 2024. It's been crazy. It's been wild.
I've been also studying how the tunnel system. I didn't go on Google Map, but I wanted to go where the mansion is, the Playboy Mansion. There's 4 tunnels coming out of that puppy. It said these former stars that own mansions right around it, and it gave about 4. I can't remember my mind's, but it showed the tunnel system that was there before Puppy moved into that mansion that he lives at in LA in the Homely Hills. And Howard Hughes used to do a lot of shit too. And that's how that mansion, the Playboy Mansion's been sold. And this new guy's totally he's got money. He's totally gonna just clean it all up and keep it to its original. I think it was made in 1930s. The mansion. Can you imagine? There's I want to go to LA pretty soon, and I want to go to home through that area, and I also want to go to Laurel Canyon, which is right in that area, and just go take some vids of it and get an idea in my own perspective, because I used to hang out there, but I've been in Vegas now 46 years, so you don't get out too much when you retire or you're retarded. Over.
The two R's. There you go.
Pacifico, welcome to the club.
They canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my penis in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, it's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there?
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no, no, no.
Yeah, he's putting it out there. I'm just setting up the show. Yeah, one more time.
Did you see that?
The Chris.
Sarge, wait. Do you see where Daysky said, can Deacon fix the audio? I guess over there.
Well,
Rumble.
Yeah. Well, I got a message from Deacon. I'm gonna just send him the video, and he's just gonna upload it to Rumble.
Oh, okay. I'll pipe down then. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I try to pay attention to all the everything that's going on. Yeah, having a little problem with Rumble. Yeah, but we just let's let Katt destroy some more careers.
Tucker that we got now is Epstein Island Chris Tucker, not Smokey.
Oh Lord! You don't think they asked Chris Tucker to come back in the second Friday?
Chris was allowed to make the decision at the time that this is happening. Katt Williams is known for smoking weed. Willie Nelson is known for smoking weed. Right. Snoop's known for smoking weed, but none of us is really known except Willie. And I'm saying, Chris Tucker didn't want to be the poster child for smoking weed. He don't smoke weed like that.
Right.
He in the church. He Michael Jackson's best friend. Christmas. Michael Jackson called him Christmas. You ever met a man that gave you a little nickname like that?
No.
Me neither. Must be.
Yeah, Katt said it all. Yeah, we just having some fun. Cause we could get into some doom and gloom. Trust me, I could show you. Caught this Piers Morgan interview. Let's see, we got about 7 more minutes. I wanted to show you propaganda at its finest. This is Piers Morgan, and he's interviewing.
Really hope that
he's interviewing the Iranian professor. This is dealing with that Iranian president that accidentally got killed last week. So yeah,
I just seen him do some rappers, breaking them down too about questions. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So this is relating to Middle East, huh?
Yeah, that Iranian president dying. I caught this because it shows the propaganda. You know how they suggest the narrative: Iran bad and Israel good. You'll hear that all through this interview. So here we go. Got about 5 minutes till a break. So yeah, I'm gonna let it run.
The president of Iran is dead. Ebrahim Raisi was killed in a helicopter crash yesterday, along with the country's foreign minister and several others. Raisi was a hardline cleric who was close to Iran's supreme leader. Many believed he was even his likely successor. Raisi was also part of the so-called Death Commission, which ordered the extrajudicial executions of thousands of political prisoners in 1988. His current Iranian regime stands accused of sowing chaos in the Middle East through its Triple H proxies, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas. So is the Middle East and the world a safer place today? And in significant developments elsewhere, could Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu face arrest for war crimes after major announcements from the International Criminal Court? We'll debate that in a moment. But first, with a view from Iran, Professor Mohammed Morandi from the University of Tehran. Professor, thank you for coming back on Uncensored. First of all, your reaction to the death of the president yesterday.
Obviously, everyone that I know is in mourning. He was a very popular figure. He was a very humble person, very different from the description that you gave. He worked very hard for the deprived, the working class, the disenfranchised. He traveled from city to city, from town to town. He was constantly visiting the different provinces. And that's why he was so popular among, especially, as I said, the more disenfranchised and middle class, lower middle class Iranians.
I mean, you painted what many would view as a ridiculous picture of a man dubbed the Butcher of Tehran, somebody whose death was greeted by many women posting images of themselves celebrating his death because of the appalling suppression that he put them under. And we know that he was responsible for the deaths of many thousands of political prisoners. So I don't quite categorize him as the person that you're trying to describe to us.
Well, obviously, what you're saying is inaccurate, to say the least. I would say the butchers are in London, in Washington, the people who destroyed Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen during the disgraceful genocide there, the dirty war in Syria, the destruction of Libya, the sanctions on Venezuela and Cuba. I think that the real monsters are actually much more closer to home. He was a part of the judiciary, and those people that you were saying were executed were, he wasn't executing people. He was in the judiciary at the time, and the people who you're alluding to, and the numbers are far less than what you claim, they're actually, this is something that your government should be ashamed of. These are people who fought against Iran. They fought for Saddam Hussein as foot soldiers. They betrayed the country. They carried out bomb attacks in this country, killing up to 17,000 people, including a president, a prime minister, and a head of judiciary. A bomb explosion near my house when I was a school student, I was getting ready to go to school. It killed 9 to 11 people, including an Armenian family of 4. These are the people who you're saying they were murdered by Iranians. No, in Iran, no one has any sympathy for the MEK terrorist organization, which today has a major base in Albania, and it has offices across Europe and North America. So it is your government that's supporting terrorism. It is your government and your governments that are really the brutal regimes that the
Professor, you came on and said you came on and spun this sort of stuff last time with the same smirk that you're doing it with this time. And the reason I find the smirk so irksome is because everybody actually outside of your
You see how Piers Morgan tried to stop him from talking? Here you go, Piers. That's for you, Piers, right here.
Doesn't matter what you think.
There you go, Piers. That's for you, Piers. Well, the music should be coming on, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Sergeant Miller's First Formation here on Revolution.radio. And I got my partner Jer Bear with me. Yeah. Get your coffee break, latrine break.
Hey, Skid Donate, don't forget about us.
Hey.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right?
that everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
The Secret Kindergarten is here for the young children of the world. The best program on the radio for kids. Dealing with the most important topics in the whole universe. Fairy tales, music and movement, numbers, plants, animals, fun, colors, insects. Take care and cast your ears out to catch a story from the world of other young things. Reach out, up, under, and over. Sing a song. Talk about feelings. Just remember the magic word. The magic word is no. Step on into the Secret Kindergarten. Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Right here on Revolution Radio.
My grandfather, though, he, I didn't get to know him that well, but all right, yeah, we're back. We're back. How you doing, Jer?
I'm just laying low, staying away from Diddy and but I'm just flashing some vids in the chat room. I wish more people would get behind the girls that are filing all the civil cases. I just wish more people would get behind it, like they get behind the other shit, like Black Kids Matter, or Black Lives Matter.
Well, I mean, you got so much news in the media. You could just throw a dart at the wall and find some good stories. So that's what
That's
I try to
how.
do. You know.
That's how Conway Twitty, that country singer, got his name. Conway Twitty. He threw 2 darts on the United States map, and one was Twitty, Arkansas, and Conway, Texas, or something like that. That's how he got his name.
There you go. There you go.
Throwing darts. But anyway, you know me, I don't know. I'm intrigued by listening to all this shit about the mansions, the tunnels, you know, all it put it this way, it takes a lot of stuff off my mind. More so, I don't know. It's something. It's my lead. You know, it's where I just by myself and start listening to all this and trying to see what's what.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But here we go. Salute,
Yeah.
Sarge. All right.
It's all good. There you go. Take it to the head.
I don't like drinking out of long necks, but roommate had some these Pacificos. I used to drink it when I go down to Puerto Vallarta. I drink.
Yeah, so the first hour, yeah, we got into, you know, Memorial Day, Pat Tillman, you know, and if you had a loved one that passed away during that served in the military, you know, there's Memorial Day. Yeah. That's what this day is about, a day to remember the fallen and stories like that. So
My ex-girlfriend that was just she was not last December, but the December before that, she passed away in Virginia, and she came out here, and we dated when I was like 38 and lived a long time for about 10 years. We were off and on and shit. But she passed away. So she had this dude back there, an older military guy, Marine, that was like 20 years older than me. So if he was alive, he'd be 87 right now. But what I'm trying to say is, she came out here, we met up, we hooked up, and then she broke up with me and yada yada yada, and ended up going. He came out to San Diego, and she went to live with him, and they got married. And then they came back to Vegas and bought it because I had a trailer back then, but they got a trailer in their trailer park. And what I'm trying to say is, then he died as a and so he got buried out at the burial site in D.C. What's it called?
Come on, was it Arlington?
I guess yeah. And so I don't know if he was cremated. I think he was cremated and shipped on to. So when I found out that Donna passed away, even me and Mitchell looked it up and we found all the shit about her. She passed away years later, which was not 2 Decembers ago. I talked to her sister, excuse me, and I said, "What's going on?" She goes, "Jared, Donna passed away. She went in her sleep, blah blah blah." And I said, "Well, what's the idea? What's going on?" She will be cremated and put in Arlington Cemetery with her husband. I said, "That's beautiful." So it's a trip. It's just a trip.
All right, you want to give out that call-in number one more time?
Yeah, I wanted somebody call into the chat rooms. 702-605-4436. Again, 702-605-4436. 702-605-4436.
There you go.
Don't call us direct. Call us collect. We'll pay for it.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, the video I finished the second hour with
someone's calling me in, but it's local. I can't answer it. Hey, Sarge, I'm gonna. It could be important, so I got to drop. And if I get lost, pull me back in. I'll okay.
Right, just message me. I'll be paying attention.
And I was gonna bring in Warren, just pulling in and, not telling that my mind is tripping.
It's all good.
Let's
That's
go
why I'm
surfing
here.
now. Everybody's learning now. Come on the internet with me. That's because you surf the internet. That's my job. All right, Sarge.
All right. It's all good.
No, never mind. I'm staying. I'm just gonna mute out. Carry on. I'm not.
All right.
Screw that call. I can call her on my cell phone. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, like I said, that the second hour, the end of the first hour into the second hour, I was playing at Piers Morgan. And I just wanted to show the contrast and show you how propaganda, because like I said earlier, in this propaganda piece, Israel good, Iran bad. So, just pay attention to that. And I thought it was an interesting, conflict between him and Piers Morgan. So yeah, there we go. Here we go. Let's finish it off.
Office right now. I was looking at this thinking, is this guy for real? Given that Iran's tentacles in terms of terrorism are very transparently flowing through the three H's, as I described them, Hezbollah, Houthis, Hamas. We know that your country, Iran, through its regime, has been responsible for horrendous terrorism now for a very long time. Why do you expect people watching these interviews, when you do them, to just calmly believe you when you say that all the bad guys are everybody else, and the downtrodden, oppressed, much misunderstood people are the Iranian regime that is despised by so many people in Iran itself?
No, and Iran will see during the funeral ceremonies how popular President Raisi was. Just like General Soleimani 4 years ago, people like you were saying the same thing about him, but we saw millions come to the street. Just because in the West you say this sort of thing doesn't mean that that's the reality on the ground over here. Hezbollah was a group that was created as a result of the Israeli regime's invasion of Lebanon. They went and captured the capital in 1982. Hezbollah was created as a result of this illegitimate and brutal occupation. They expelled the brutal apartheid ethno-supremacist regime from Lebanon. And Hamas and other groups in Palestine are the result of 76 years of oppression, ethnic cleansing, and brutality and apartheid from this same regime. So when you speak about the Houthis or Ansar Allah, you're talking about a decade of genocide carried out by the Saudis and the Emiratis, who are your allies, and your governments were supporting them. Your government starved the people of Yemen to bring them to their knees, but you failed, and you failed today as well. So no, you cannot blame the victims. 9/11, we were told that Al-Qaeda carried out the attacks on the Twin Towers. Who was Al-Qaeda? They were working with you in Afghanistan. And then 10 years later in Syria and in Libya, Al-Qaeda was cooperating with you. We have an email from Jake Sullivan, February the 12th, 2012, where he sent to Hillary Clinton, where he said in Syria, Al-Qaeda is on our side. The dirty war in Syria, the dirty war in Libya is yours. These are your crimes and you cannot escape from it. So we are the victims and your ugly empire is guilty as it is guilty in the genocide today in Gaza.
I wonder how many people watching this around the world, and there'll be a lot, will look at the situation with the current Iranian regime and think the word victim is appropriate. And particularly given that President Raisi, that you paint such a idyllic picture of as a human being, somebody who only cared about the downtrodden. This is a man, of course, ordered tighter enforcement of Iran's hijab and chastity law, restricting women's dress and behavior. It was under those orders that 22-year-old Mahsa Amini was detained in September 2022 by Iran's morality police for wearing improper hijab and died 3 days later in hospital, sparking mass unrest. That doesn't sound like the kind of guy you're trying to describe to me. It sounds like a guy who is trying to dictate to women how they should dress, how they should behave. Do you understand that in the West, we look at that as reprehensible behavior?
No, in the West, you objectify women, you commodify women, and you sexualize women, and you have Epsteins and many Epsteins who control.
Well, we give women the freedom to dress how they wish. Why would you decline them that freedom?
No,
Now you peep that. See that Iranian brought up Epstein and Piers Morgan. Now Piers Morgan got to control the conversation now. Yeah, that's cool. He went there. He went straight to Epstein when he talking about women. I said, boy, boy, boy. All right, let's continue.
In Iran, we have women pilots, we have women scientists. My boss at the University of Tehran, the dean of my faculty is a woman. For the 21 years that I've been an academic at the University of Tehran, 17 and a half of those years, the dean of my faculty was one woman or another. Don't misrepresent Iran. It doesn't work anymore, Piers. Your Western empire is on the decline. The whole of the global South is witnessing the crimes that are being carried out by your regimes. And your declining regimes are now despised by your own people. You're crushing people, students who are protesting genocide. You're not even crushing students who are protesting your own government for something that they're doing at home. You're crushing students for protesting genocide in another country. But you can't tolerate that. And your media is controlled by a group of rich people. They control the narrative, and you call that a democracy. Your choice is either Hillary Clinton or Biden or Trump. And then when that decision is made, the whole of Europe, Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand fall in line as good soldiers. You don't have democracies, so don't pretend that you are above Iran.
Out of interest, Professor.
You owe us.
Out of interest.
You owe us.
Out of interest, do you think women should have freedom to dress how they wish?
That is not your concern.
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking a question.
That is not your concern.
You trying to dig. Let's see. Let me see what I can play right here. Piers Morgan. Yeah, he. Oh, how about this one? Here you go. Piers was interrupting the man from speaking. Let's see how Piers gets back from this.
Concern.
Do you have an answer for me or not?
Women should have a freedom to dress within the cultural context of every society. Women and men do not have the freedom to dress any way they like in your country. So different societies have different cultures.
Actually, I can dress how the hell I like.
Well, no, you cannot. You can then take off your clothes right now in front of the camera. Don't talk nonsense.
I can take my clothes off if I wanted to.
Every society has its own culture. We don't follow.
But just to be clear, I mean, you're trying to avoid the question. Just to be clear.
I'm not.
Well, just let me ask you the question again. You're a smart guy. You're a professor, and you're full of the ills of the West. Do you think women should be free to dress how they like?
No, I told you. I told you very clearly.
You don't agree.
Women should have the freedom to dress the way they like, but in our culture, the sexualization, objectification, and commodification of women is unacceptable. It is your society that drives and pushes women.
Got it. I get you another lecture about my society, but just to be clear, what you mean is you would like to you don't think they should, do you?
Women are pilots. Most of my university students are women. The last person who we hired in my department was a woman. I am an affiliate in another department as well at the University of Tehran. The last two people we hired as academics there are women too. You cannot misrepresent Iran.
I simply asked you, Professor, if you felt women should have the freedom to dress how they wish, and you cannot answer me because actually you don't think they should.
No, because I didn't. They should be free to dress as they like within the cultural and religious context.
And just to be clear, just to be clear.
No, just one moment.
And just to be clear, okay, you can keep shouting, or you can answer my question. Just to be clear, that would be within the realm of Iran's hijab and chastity law, would it?
I don't know the precise law, and I'm not going to get involved in that debate.
But it was President Raisi who tightened enforcement of that law, so you must be aware of it. You're a professor. You're a very smart guy.
No, actually, I hope you're smart too. Mr. Raisi did not tighten the law, or he didn't enforce it.
You just said you don't know anything about the law.
No, I don't know that.
You either know about it or you don't.
All right, all right. I got enough of you, Pierce. I can only do so much, Pierce Morgan. But I wanted to bring that up. It was like a response to, when their president in Iran had suicide. What was it? Suicide bombing? Ain't no telling. Ain't no telling. Murder. You're dealing with Jesuits. So yeah, it's bro.
It was, what do they call the soldiers that were that go, no, what do they call the militants or
Like
that go,
kamikazes or the
no,
insurgents.
no, where they become their own. They go, they're assigned to go to countries and train people. But they're not, they're
Mercenaries.
working, huh?
Mercenaries.
Mercenaries.
Yeah,
Those bastards ain't no freaking good.
yeah. Well, since since we I'm on, let's go back to the past a little bit. I did it last week. Um I wanted to build up to like Noam Chomsky. Noam Chomsky is where I'm gonna get to after this.
You're teaching me now because I don't know those names, so keep it on.
Yeah, let's go to Nixon. Here we go. This is Nixon talking about Israel back in his day.
It isn't a question of whether I felt it. The fact is that American Jews support Israel, and I understood that. And the fact is that every Jewish prime minister that I have known has enlisted American Jews to bring as much pressure as possible in the political process on American presidents. That's understandable. I don't object to it. Now, a president must not go along with it on occasion, because let me explain something about what is called the Jewish lobby in this country. In the first place, Jews, understandably in the United States, because of what happened in World War II, because of the Holocaust, are going to put first priority on the survival of Israel. Now, as good Americans as they are, they believe that America's survival and security is directly related to Israel's. In other words, their belief is that being for Israel first means that does not mean you're putting America second, because they think it goes together. An American president, however, has to approach it in a different way, in my opinion. He's got always to think first of what is best for America, and that's true whether it has to do with the Israelis or whether it has to do with the Irish or the Germans or what have you, or the Poles, etc. Usually what is best for America is also best for Israel and vice versa. But on occasions, for example, an American president must make a decision.
You see how they slide that in? It sounded good. Yeah, American president should be worried about America first. But then yeah, we gotta slide Israel in there. Yeah. Yeah, they got to babysit Israel. Boy, that propaganda is something, boy. I tell you, I tell you.
Speaking of Nixon, how did he make how did he get on a call from the homeboy up on the space run in '69? How did he sound like he was like talking like me and you right now? I don't know. They scammed us.
They had Skype back then, too.
Well, no, they didn't have Skype, but I'm saying they sounded. He's in his Oval Office, and the guy's on the moon, and he said, "How you doing, Mr. President?" They sounded as clear as we talking now, is what I'm saying. A lot of things about that mission too.
That's why I like to go back in history.
I don't think we went to the moon.
Thinking. All right.
Well, I don't think we went to the moon.
If we went once, you can go again, right?
Shit. We ain't got no business up there.
If you go to the casino down the street where you play Keno, can you go again? You've been once. Can you go again?
No, I won't go again. Because the town ain't like it used to be. It's like the strip is all mansions now, casinos, where they used to have a little my little castaways. Oh, it's grown so much. I got here. There's 200,000 people in Vegas, 1977. Today there's over 3 million.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Where
Well,
did I go wrong? I should have bought more land back then, or try to be the right thing, but I was too much of a crazy wild man. It was good old times. I ain't gonna take none back. Over.
yeah. If was a fit, we'd all be tipsy. There you go.
If wishes were fishes, we'd all be. I know the saying. If wishes were fishes, we'd all have a fry.
You got to put some cornbread in there.
Some cornmeal.
All
Ready
right. Well,
cornmeal. Shit.
let's get back to Nixon
All
on
right, you got me
Israel.
thinking about food. I can't help it.
Hey, you gotta fill a hole. Fill a hole.
I'm smoking a bowl right now. Go ahead.
All right, there. This is Nixon finishing up on Israel. Then after this, I'm gonna play Noam Chomsky on Israel and a little history. So I just like to, a topic. I like to bring up 2, 3 clips just to make a conversation, have a good time. So here goes Nixon again on Israel, finishing up his propaganda piece.
That does not, in effect, give the Israelis a blank check. And one example of that is a decision that I made. I decided early on in our administration that we were going to seek good relations with Egypt and others of Israel's neighbors. Many of my Israeli friends didn't like that because they wanted a special relationship with Israel and Israel only. But I have always said that Israel's interests are better served to have the United States a friend of Israel's neighbors and potential enemies than to leave a vacuum which the Soviet Union would fill. I still believe that, and I think that should be American policy today.
All right. Now the final one in the Israel talk, and then we can get into that hip hop world, yeah. Set that up a little bit. This is the last one on Israel.
I'm waiting for that, but I'm being patient because I know you're playing a style that you go back on the date of our show, but I'm not trying to pull any wool over here. I just think more people need to know and understand what the real shit's going on with. Now I hope they go after Oprah Winfrey, but I'll hold my ass. Go ahead.
Yeah, only time will tell. Only time will tell. This is the last one on Israel. This is Noam Chomsky. Let's go back into some history.
Why does the United States support Israel? Well, there's a history, and a very interesting one. It actually goes back a long time. One thing to remember is that Christian Zionism is a very powerful force, which goes back long before Jewish Zionism. In England, particularly, Christian Zionism was a powerful force among British elites. It's part of the motivation for the Balfour Declaration and for Britain's support for Jewish colonization of Israel. Remember, the Bible said, and that's a big part of British elite culture. Same in the United States. Woodrow Wilson was a devout Christian who read the Bible every day. So did Harry Truman. In the Roosevelt administration, one of the leading officials, Harold Ickes, once described the return of the Jews to Palestine as the greatest event in history. It's realizing the lesson of the Bible. These are deeply religious countries in which the biblical commands, so-called, are taken quite literally. Also, this is just part of colonization. This is the last phase of European colonization. And notice that the countries that are most strongly in support of Israel are not just the United States. It's the United States, Australia, and Canada, the offshoots of England, Anglosphere sometimes called, unusual forms of imperialism. These are settler colonial societies, societies in which the not like India, not like the British in India, say. Societies, South Africa was a little like this, or Algeria under the French. Settler colonial societies in which the settlers came in essentially eliminated the native population, also driven by religious principles, very religious groups driven by Christian Zionism. Those are major cultural factors. There are also significant geostrategic factors. And you go back to 1948, there was actually a split between the State Department and the Pentagon in the United States over how to react to the new state of Israel. The State Department was not committed strongly to Israeli conquests, the establishment of the state, and was concerned about the refugees. It wanted an implementation of the refugee problem. The Pentagon, on the other hand, was very impressed with Israel's military potential. The Israeli military successes, if you look back at the internal record and declassified, the Joint Chiefs of Staff described Israel as the second largest military force in the region after Turkey and a potential base for U.S. power in the region. That continued. Can't run through the whole record, but in 1958, when there was a serious crisis in the region, Israel was the only state that strongly cooperated with Britain and the United States, and it won plenty of support from the governments and the military for that reason. 1967 is when the current relations with Israel were pretty much established. Israel performed a major service to the United States by destroying a secular Arab nationalism, a major enemy of the United States, and supporting radical Islam, which the U.S. supported. And it continues right until the present. Right now, we saw an example of that.
You see how Nam breaking it down, Nam Chomsky. See how he giving you a foundation of Israel and Israel supporting radical Islam. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? He breaking it down. He telling you it's colonization. He just said they colonized the area and destroyed the native population. He telling you what they did. So that's why I found it very interesting. You know, it gives you an outline and a background to really see how it's going on right in front of your face. You know what I'm saying, Jerry?
I'm listening.
Yeah. So let's continue. Just got a few more minutes. Just a little short clip.
You keep it simple.
Just during the latest Gaza attack, you recall that at one point Israel began to run out of munitions during the assault, despite the fact that it's armed to the teeth. The United States provided Israel with additional munitions through the Pentagon. And notice where they were taken from. These were U.S. munitions pre-positioned in Israel for eventual use by U.S. forces. One of many signs of how Israel is regarded as essentially a military offshoot of the United States. Very close intelligence relations that go way back, many other connections. And the media tend to take up, to support the policy of the government with very few, kind of little questioning around the edges, but basically accept the policy. So, for example, take another issue. Take the U.S. invasion of Iraq. You cannot find the phrase U.S. invasion of Iraq in the U.S. media, though it was obviously an invasion, a blatant act of aggression, a textbook case of that's Nuremberg trials called the supreme international crime, cannot be mentioned. President Obama is praised as an opponent of the invasion. And what did he say? He said it's a mistake. It's a strategic blunder. We're not going to get away with it. Now, that's the kind of opposition that you heard from the German general staff during Hitler's invasion of Russia. It's a blunder. Shouldn't do it. Should knock off England first. That's regarded as opposition. The same in Vietnam. There's now a commemoration underway, big commemoration of U.S. sacrifices in Vietnam. Try to find the phrase U.S. invasion of South Vietnam there or anywhere in the past year since 1961 when it took place. Non-existent, maybe on Democracy Now, what I write, but way out at the fringe. And this is not unique to the United States. Take, say, Britain. Right now there's interesting debates in the British literary journals, like the Times Literary Supplement, as to whether Britain should finally begin to recognize the genocidal, the word that's used, genocidal character of British colonization hundreds of years ago. Should Britain begin to face it? You can ask that question in many places. The tendency of the intellectual community to go along like a herd in support of state power, private power, is just overwhelming. Intellectuals like to think of themselves as dissident, critical, courageous, standing up against power. Absolutely untrue. You look at the historical record, that's a small fringe, and they're usually punished. The mainstream tends to be what was once called a herd of independent minds, marching in support of state power. Nothing new here. Unfortunate, you have to fight against it, not new.
Nothing new here. You heard the man say it. Nothing new here. And this was from a long time ago, Jared. So now you see, ain't nothing changed.
You know what? They mentioned Obama a few minutes ago. Obama he took off to England not too long ago to run away from the shit going on because he was going to give Diddy an award for some type of award. And he split. He split just like the what's your name? The Kardashians or
Kardashians?
The Kardashians all went undercover because they paranoid. They next.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyway.
but that's why I wanted to bring up that Noam Chomsky. He's breaking it down. He's showing you ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed but the date and maybe the weather. Yeah, so you gotta. That's why I like showing the contradictions and the hypocrisy, and how it's the same playbook. They're controlling it with that media controlling that narrative.
That's right. They'll all say the same thing on the news, but in their own way. But it's direct. The news is all scripted, just like they say football is.
Yeah. That's the playing field. That's the playing field we under. That's why I like showing these examples. And I wanted to get into some Jordan Maxwell. Remember Jordan Maxwell? He
used to come on. We did. People at the show at the network here had I had him on my show, I think, one time or not. I can't remember. But yeah. I got you.
Yeah, he was breaking down a lot of esoteric, and yeah, he was all over Rev Radio. Matter of fact, I got to interview him. Yeah,
how the woman's room is the gate, and we're all like international. We come to the port. It talked about Admiral. What is it? Admiral Law.
Admiralty Law. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I wanted to play him this little clip. I'm gonna just play a little bit of it, but he's gonna set the stage for like the puppets and the gatekeepers, and then I'm gonna try to match that with what's going on, like with Diddy and all of these situations. Katt Williams coming out, and then you just had Terence Howard on the Joe Rogan show. You could see how the narrative formed.
Too much about it. I see his name coming up, Terence Howard, but I see his name come up. But shoot, Luke, you're faded.
All right. All right. Let's see. You said shoot Luke, huh? Let's see what
I had a dog named Luke. You say shoot Luke, you're faded. That was an old saying. I'm coming up with my sayings.
You don't know the power of the dark side. You
the dark side.
The dark side.
I wish I could get my my voice I used to do of Wolfman Jack. I had it down. Wolfman. But I had to drink a lot of Jägermeister. I don't do that no more.
Yeah, I've been adding some ad libs. I got, let's see, this one here. That's how you feel. I feel like I'm in Star Wars with all this shit going on. And
what was that? The big guy's name?
Chewbacca.
Yeah, Chewbacca.
Yeah. You know, I'll be working. I'll be working. I'll be working.
I ain't mad at you.
All right, yeah. Let's get into this. Jordan Maxwell. This is The Watchers, and you're gonna explain.
How long is this one?
I might just play maybe 10 minutes of it. You know.
All right.
It's very interesting, just to set up the stage.
I partied with him.
I heard he liked beer.
and beef jerky.
All right, we're about to get into this. Because he gonna say some things that's gonna make sense, especially at this day and age.
Then there's also something called the sons of God. And many people have mistaken sons of God in the Bible for angels. Angels are spirit entities. Sons of God, according to the old Jewish tradition and Christian and the Islamic world, recognizes that sons of God is different than angels. Sons of God are entities, not from here, but who look like us. They look like humans, but they're not fully human. They merely look like us. And I am of the opinion that the reason why that is because they made us in their image and likeness. And so we say they look like us. No, in fact, we look like them. They made us in their image and likeness. And when you read in the Bible in the beginning, which I will be showing you, when it said God created man and God created man. And point of fact, the Bible does not say God created man. It's not saying that at all. It's saying that God has recreated man. You'll see all of this in the scriptures, but the point I want to make here for this whole presentation is that we are the product of a higher civilization who is watching us, and they are the ones that we have talked about for thousands of years as the gods. The Greeks had their gods, the Babylonians had their gods, all the ancient cultures talked about they who have come down from above, the gods. They were supernatural, but they looked like men. They were
stop for a minute.
with women, but they were not from.
All right.
Just stop it for. Did he mention? He didn't mention the Anunnaki.
That's what he getting into. He always get into that.
Did he say that? He just said God, but I don't remember him ever talking about the Anunnaki. After he passed that, stitching, yada yada yada, which I believe that the Anunnaki created us. The GG, oh man, that's another story. The GG went on strike. They were under the Anunnaki as the workers for the pyramids and all the shit they were building back then. And then they said, well, Enlil and Enki said, do something, and that's when they took us and made us with part of their DNA. Go ahead.
Yeah, but the whole theme is Zionism.
I understand that.
Christian Zionism or
which
Judaism.
Which was created by that. They made that shit up. It's that what you just said by the guys in from Europe, the rich people, the Rothschilds.
Yes, sir.
They created that man-made what you just said. Bastards.
All right. Well, let's get back to Jordan Maxwell.
From here, they were supernatural. I think there's something to that. I think that's very true. And I think that they're still messing around with us today. So I want to make the difference. I want the difference to be made in your mind between angels and sons of God. Angels are spirits. Sons of God look like us. They are physical beings. So let's start with the companion Bible. People ask me, what Bible do you use? I've got probably a copy of every Bible that's ever been printed. But the one I particularly like is called the Companion Bible, because it has all of the information in there that no other Bible will tell you. They've got all the stuff in there that other Bibles pass over and will not tell you the real truth. The Companion Bible does. In the book of Genesis, first book of the Bible, there's a lot of interesting footnotes on each page dealing with each the scriptures, and then there's a lot of footnotes. So in Genesis, the very first book of the Bible, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. But that's not what it says in the original. In the original, it doesn't say God created the heavens and the earth. This is a mistranslation. In the original, it says, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. Elohim is not God. El is God. Lohim is plural. It's a feminine plural, adding on to the word El. El is God, Lohim is plural. So the correct translation should be, in the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. And next is a very important misunderstanding in Scripture. It says, and the earth was without form and void. First of all, think about it. Why would God create the earth and it's without form and void? What does that mean? That's another mistranslation. Because the people who translated the King James Bible were very good with the King's English, but they didn't know that much about ancient Hebrew or the ancient Phoenician language. So they made some mistakes in their translations. So in the beginning, the gods, Elohim, created the heavens and the earth was without form and void. When you read it correctly, to understand Genesis 1:28, we first of all have to look at Genesis 1:2, in which the word is tohu vavohu. In the beginning, let's see, and the earth was without form and void. Correctly translated, it is not was without form and void, but you'll see in the footnotes, it became. Was is actually the word became. And without form is waste. And void is connected to waste and a void. So what I'm saying is that when you read in the Bible, the earth was without form and void, and no, the earth became a waste and a desolation. It wasn't formed, tohu vavohu, but it became tohu vavohu, or it became a waste and a desolation. That's interesting. So going back to this quickly, and the earth was without form and void. Was without form and void in Hebrew is the word tohu vavohu, which means became a waste and a desolation. And so this word tohu vavohu means it became a waste and a desolation. But this word is only used in the Bible twice. Once in Genesis 1:2, we find tohu vavohu. Also in Jeremiah 4:23. When Jeremiah 4:23, we're told that Jeremiah is given a vision by God of the world that was before mankind was on the earth. And here in Jeremiah, it says, and I beheld the earth, and lo, it was without form and void. Here in the Old Testament book of Jeremiah, Jeremiah says, I was given a vision by God, and I saw the earth, and he goes on to say, I beheld the earth, and it was, lo, it was without form and void. I beheld, and lo, there was no man. So he saw the earth when there was no mankind on the earth. But it goes on to say, I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down. And it goes on to say that all the birds, on number 25, I beheld, and there was no man, and all the birds of the heavens were fled, and all the cities thereof were broken down. So he's talking about animals, birds, and beautiful cities, and they were all broken down, but there was no man. And so you have to ask the question, what are you talking about? That there were cities and animals and birds, but there was no man. Well, actually in the Hebrew, no man. Mankind wasn't here. So I'm saying I totally believe that that's true. That millions of years ago, this earth was a landing place, was a meeting place for what the Hebrews called the Elohim, the gods who came here and had cities. And those are, I've got many different multiple translations from different translations that say basically the same thing. All the cities were broken down, and then the birds were gone. So the point being is that in the Old Testament, we're seeing that there are cities where the Elohim, the gods, resided. Now, when you hear that that the Hebrew religion is the only, or the very first monotheistic religion. Mono, of course, meaning one, the worship of one God. In point of fact, that's not true. The Hebrew religion is henotheology, henotheistic, not monotheistic. Heno, look it up in any religious dictionary, you will see that the worship of one God is not monotheistic. The word is henotheistic, which means picking one God out of a group, out of many. So in Hebrew theology, when you hear that the Jews were the first monotheistic religion, no, not monotheistic. The Hebrews always had many, many gods, but they picked one in particular and to worship, and that was Yahweh, one in particular. So you could say that they were the worshipers of one God, but they picked that one God from many others, and they were all equal, the gods were. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. No, it's in the beginning, the gods created the heavens and the earth. And also in Psalms 82, it said, God stands in the congregation of the mighty. He judgeth among the gods. So it shows that the Hebrew God is judging among the many gods. He's just one of them. And then the footnote talks about the Hebrew word Elohim, within the gods, within the congregation of the mighty, which is the gods, the assembly of many gods. So the Hebrews merely picked one of the many gods that were available. And then it's interesting, now it makes sense in Genesis 1:28, when it says that God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. I used to correspond many years ago with Rabbi Marvin S. Antleman, who at that time was the head of one of the largest rabbinical associations in the United States. And I used to correspond with him all the time, and we talked about this particular scripture. This is back in the early 60s. And I asked him about this scripture because I knew that God is Elohim, the plural, and he said, yes. He said, but Christians and Jews do not read this correctly. It's not saying God created man. Read the scripture correctly. It says, come, let us. Well, now it's explained, let us, because there's more than one God. And the gods are saying, come, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Not making man, but come, let us make him in our image, after our likeness. So it's remaking him.
That's when they created Adam,
the
the
image
Anunnaki.
and likeness. Image and likeness.
Yeah, that's what that's why he breaking it down. That's
Because
why I liked it.
There was Enki, and Enlil's father was Enlil. Enlil, I think. No, his name was El, or something like that. That ran the Buru and sent his sons here, Enki and Enlil. And Enki was, I think Enki through the years moved into Abraham and became maybe Jesus Christ. I don't know. It gets really deep there, but they're the ones that created us because they wanted somebody to dig their damn gold. I believe that's the story. So it is not one God. It's a combination. But now Earth was already here when they came from Earth was already here when they were looking for gold 450,000 years ago. So maybe they were just semi-gods that created us, but the real God, I'd say it gets deep.
Yeah, it gets real deep. That's why I like mixing up, you know, I like mixing it up and listening to different forms and points of view. Because I really like how he breaking it down. He explaining to you, all of these books. So I enjoy listening to Jordan Maxwell. I,
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate I appreciate everybody listening. Yeah, we got about 3 more minutes left until second hour break. But I would just like to tell everybody thank you for listening to Revolution.radio, freedomslips.org, freedomslips.net. It's a Sergeant Miller along with my road dog, my compadre, Jer Bear, and we're just trying to put this presentation together and get some information out there and have a good time.
That's right.
All right, let's continue with Lil Jordan Maxwell.
This means we're in the likeness of our image, or the Elohim. And in any case, the image likeness is physical. So what it's saying is that the gods who created us, this is in the ancient Hebrew, actually created us in their image and likeness. Why? Because what we were before that was the Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon man, or what these hominids were called. And now today we're a totally different kind of creature. And as I said, it's always depicting the stories in the Bible, God is always depicted as looking like a human. As a matter of fact, it says that God walked in the cool of the evening with Adam. The very word Hebrew, and as it's used in the Bible, when it says God walked with Adam and Eve in the cool of the evening, the word walk is a Hebrew word which means you can hear the footsteps on leaves. You can hear the footsteps of somebody following you. That's what the Hebrew word implied. So when it says that God walked with Adam and Eve, the Hebrew word actually means you can hear him walking with you. He's walking behind you or walking next to you. So, I mean, it's not going to be some nebulous divine God in the sky. No, it's an actual God who's created, and he's walking with you in the garden. So God makes Adam. Here's a statue of Adam and God together. They both look like human. And then they said, the next one says, and God, the Lord God said, behold, man has become as one of us. So now once he's been remade, which is obviously saying that the gods have tampered with our DNA. They somehow or another procreated with us and crossbred with us, which is what Zechariah Sitchin and all these other writers that I have worked with are saying the same thing, that the gods have done something with us and changed our DNA and made us look more like they do. So now they can roam about around us, and we will never know who they are because they look like us. No, we look like them. And that's my opinion.
Okay, the music should be coming on any second now, Jerry. Yeah. Yeah, that was a little Jordan Maxwell for everybody.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, this is Sergeant Miller with First Formation on Revolution.radio. On Jer Bear. Make sure y'all come on back.
You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Hey everyone, it's Barbara Jean Lindsay, the Cosmic Oracle. If you have questions about your past lives or future plans, need answers from the cosmos about your love life or career, or just want to keep your finger on the pulse of the planet, check out my show, The Cosmic Oracle, here on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
The Secret Kindergarten is here for the young children of the world. The best program on the radio for kids. Dealing with the most important topics in the whole universe. Fairy tales, music and movement, numbers, plants, animals, fun, colors, insects. Take care and cast your ears out to catch a story from the world of other young things. Reach out, up, under, and over. Sing a song. Talk about feelings. Just remember the magic word. The magic word is no. Step on into the Secret Kindergarten. Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Right here on Revolution Radio.
Check in every Thursday night for the Crick, Rick, and Jonathan Show. Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at the #1 listener-supported radio station, Revolution Radio.
Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. I know you thought that I was believing and sleeping for oh so long. The things behind my back that you were doing were oh so wrong. And I guess you thought I would never, ever see it for myself. Cause you were gonna steal it and give it to someone else. But now I'm awake like truck stop coffee. And I will never turn my back on you. Awake like truck stop coffee. It's time to pay for all the things that you do. Awake like truck stop coffee. Cause you have broken all the golden rules. Awake like truck stop coffee. Cause I'm tired of playing the fool, yeah. Truck stop coffee is the one for me. Truck stop coffee really made me see. Truck stop coffee is the strongest thing that I have. I'm awake.
All right. We back in the house, huh, Jer?
Think we ain't?
Yeah, this is the third hour of Sergeant Miller's First Formation. Here on revolution.radio, freedomslips.net, freedomslips.org. Make sure you become a supporter. Go to the website, The archives are free. We got the Matrix chat room going along. Got Jared Jammer in there. Who else we got? We got Dave Ski. Dave Ski says he got to go to bed, but he said appreciate the show. There you go.
Yeah, he
Shared
did.
sheet. Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody that's listening. Hope everything's going good. This Memorial's Day. So yeah.
Holiday.
Yeah, yeah. Remember what it's for. It's for the fallen. There you go. Yeah, Jay, I think let's see. Here, right here, I got that Terrence Howard on Joe Rogan. It's just a little clip. And he was trying to
So my first wife said it's just a little clip.
yeah, just a little clip. I found this one interesting because he was talking about his phone. His phone was acting up, and he was like, "You think the government watching?" You was like, so yeah, let's get into this right quick.
Well, man, don't turn my phone off. Don't do that. Every
Oh,
time I get ready, well, because I know they're watching me right now, and they're mad at me.
Who's they?
The people that our entire world economy is based off of the politicians and the authorities that give the politicians their accreditation. And those authorities, those universities are all based, their entire curriculum is based off the Platonic solids. And our world economy is based off of 1 × 1 = 1.
You think they fuck with your phone?
Oh, I'm sure of it, because now I have to turn it off for a
Do you
second.
ever drop your phone? You ever drop your phone?
I've dropped my phone a number of times, but...
You ever think that might be what's going on with your phone?
And then I buy another phone, and the same thing happens.
All right. You see that conspiracy world? Yeah, that was a good. I suggest people check out, Terrence Howard on the Joe Rogan podcast. Cause let me go ahead and play another quick slide of Terrence Howard on the Joe Rogan podcast last week. It was I found it very interesting.
It's the fucking government, man.
You think it's not?
I think it is sometimes. I assume they listen to everything I say.
They do.
I'm sure.
They do. You took
a lot of boring.
You took a bold stand, though, years ago when the governments were trying to poison their citizens. You took a very bold stand that nobody else took. That's what I was like, wow, I appreciate you, because I lost 3-4 jobs because I refused to take it. I refused.
I bet you feel better about it now.
Well,
especially when you know all these people that have health problems because of it.
Cancers have increased 300%.
All-cause mortality up 40% in some age groups.
Pulmonary embolisms almost up like 500%.
Yeah, wonder what caused that.
Well,
Crazy.
The spike proteins that's being built and collected within the system. We can go into. I can walk you through what the spike protein did to the BRCA1 gene. That's that gene inside of our DNA that tells us that there's damage that's happening, almost like the crews that go along the highway and they immediately put up cones every time there's a problem. Well, the spike protein, which is no protein has ever been able to enter into the nucleus of a cell. Not only does it go to the ribosome to say, hey, you know what? I don't want you to produce whatever protein, like if it was a skin cell, you're not going to produce keratin anymore. You're just going to produce these spike proteins. That spike protein went into the DNA and it tells the BRCA1 gene, turn off. And that's the gene that says, hey, there's a mutation here. Let's scrap that thing. And so now the cancers are building up. The spike proteins weren't shedding from the body. They collected in the ovaries. They collected in the lymph nodes. They collected in the bone marrow. So now we have all of these diseases that's showing themselves because the body is overwhelmed trying to deal with the spike protein that's attaching itself to the ACE2 and the endothelial cells in our vascular system for everybody out there.
And the more boosters you get,
boom,
the worse
turning your
outcomes are
system
gonna be.
off. You're turning it off. Your body cannot defend itself, and it's just collecting. It's just collecting. But I think it's an agenda to it.
You think so?
I think it's an agenda attached to it because they restricted any natural thing like ivermectin. Iver means like was it caused ivermectin. Mectin for the Latin of it, it was worms, and it was anti-worms. And what the ivermectin does, it causes the worms to have paralysis, or parasites to have paralysis, because it stops their information from passing. And there's these things called the nodes of Ranvier between each neuron. There's an axon, and there's the axon, and oh my God, I just forgot the leg that comes off of dendrites. Those dendrites and the axons have these things called nodes of Ranvier, where they're not allowed to touch each other, and it transfers potassium and chlorine back and forth to each other. Potassium, chlorine, chloride, and hydrogen back and forth. Well, in the worm, the ivermectin stops that to where the worms become paralyzed. So it was an immediate defense against the pathogen, but they immediately shut that down and wouldn't allow anybody to use it.
They showed that it stops viral replication
completely
in vitro. Yeah, they know that they know that there's a mechanism involved, and they try to pretend. And then they also try to pretend it's dangerous, which is insane. And they even got Rolling Stone magazine on board with it, where they printed an article where they were showing these people that were waiting in line for gunshot victims because so many people were overdosing on horse dewormer.
Yeah, well, that was propaganda.
It was a full-on lie. Not only that, they were so stupid and clumsy about it that the image that they used, this is Oklahoma. The image that they used was like in the summer in Oklahoma, and yet everybody's dressed in winter coats. It was retarded. The whole thing was so stupid, but so obviously coordinated. It was confusing to me how many people were willing to go along with it and how many people were angry at people who didn't go along with it, regardless of what they were saying. Even if what they were saying was reasonable, even if what they're saying, especially if you're talking about like Jay Bhattacharya and these people that were professors at esteemed universities, and they were being silenced, and there was a coordinated effort to remove their posts from Twitter. This is wild shit.
Yeah.
Unprecedented wild shit. And the population was just going along with it. For me, what was fascinating was psychologically. Like, do you guys not know about deception? Do you not know about profit motive? Do you not know about the history of pharmaceutical drug companies in this country and what they've been able to get away with how many people?
Good points, Joe Rogan. I respect you for all what you did, and I like your platform. And I enjoyed that Terence Howard interview. So they're going through that. So I wanted to give Joe Rogan his props. I don't know if y'all saw this story with Chris Cuomo actually admitting that Joe Rogan was right. So I wanted to mix that in together. And here we go with that one.
Chris Cuomo is praising Joe Rogan and blasting his former network over its COVID coverage. In the podcast with Patrick Bet-David, the former CNN anchor and brother of former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shared that he's now taking the same drug he used to make fun of. That's right. Let's watch.
I'll tell you something else that's going to get you a lot of hits. I am taking a, what do they call it? Like a regular dose, whatever. They're trying to build up of ivermectin. Ivermectin was a boogeyman early on in COVID.
You couldn't talk about it.
That was wrong. We were given bad information about ivermectin. The real question is why?
No shit, Sherlock. I'm finally glad you finally see that, Chris Cuomo. And for that one, let me give you one. Let me give you that.
You are nothing but unorganized, grabastic pieces of amphibian shit.
There you go. I wanted to, and this one. Let's do.
The lie detector determined that was a lie.
that was Chris Cuomo's whole journalist career right there in them two last little skits I played. But let's continue with Chris Cuomo.
Everyone's going to say Joe Rogan was right. No, Joe Rogan was saying, yeah, he was right. But that's not what matters. What matters is the entire clinical community knew that ivermectin couldn't hurt you. They knew it, Patrick. I know they knew it. How do I know? Because now I'm doing nothing but talking to these clinicians who at the time were overwhelmed by COVID and they weren't saying anything.
As a reminder, this is the way Chris Cuomo talked about ivermectin in 2020, as ex-influencer Maze Moore pointed out.
People who are injecting drugs for animals and horse.
And people telling them to. Oh my God. What person? You know, you talk about cancel culture and who to shame. Ivermectin, a dewormer, really?
They are shaming themselves. No one has to shame them. They're shaming themselves.
No, they need to be shamed.
Yeah.
They need to be called out and shamed, brother.
Now, Joe Rogan reacted to Cuomo's shift in positions on his podcast. Let's take a listen.
Chris Cuomo just came out and said he's got a vaccine injury. That guy was pushing that on TV forever. And he said he got it with his first dose, and then he got it again with his second dose.
Rogan goes on to criticize the New York Times for their recent reporting on COVID vaccine-related injuries.
This is in New York Times. Thousands believe COVID vaccines harm them. Is anyone listening? All vaccines have at least occasional side effects, but people who say they were injured by COVID vaccines believe their cases have been ignored. Well, they have. They have been ignored. I have friends that have been ignored.
Now, many on the right were furious with Cuomo's admitted reversal. Author and ex-influencer John Lefevre said, quote, "It wasn't that Chris Cuomo was lied to about ivermectin or that Joe Rogan was lucky, as he now claims. Chris Cuomo was wrong. He was lazy. He didn't do his job. He was a useful idiot, repeating propaganda talking points, asking zero questions, and shaming anyone who did." Meanwhile, other CNN watchers are mad at Cuomo for different reasons. For example, one ex-user exchanged tweets with Cuomo writing, "Wow, just wow, it's always something with you. So glad CNN fired you. I watched you suffer with COVID and you have long COVID. Now all of a sudden, now you have issues related to the vaccine. Come on, man." Remember this, Chris Cuomo got COVID early on and shared the news of his illness on TV at CNN.
The virus wants us to lay down. The virus wants us to take it. Other than the blessed few, the rest of us who get this are going to have an experience unlike anything else they've ever had.
And of course, his brother Andrew was then governor of New York and became famous for daily briefings about COVID, and then famous for some other things.
Yeah, this is tough. I remember specifically a bit that they did where they each got giant Q-tips and were joking about the size of the Q-tip and the size of the brother's nose, and there was all of this pageantry around it. And so no wonder people are upset about a reversal of sorts coming so late in the game and after so many people were, I think, trying in good faith to raise these kinds of concerns. The negativity about the vaccine injuries, for one, has always been kind of absurd and outsized. Believing that the benefit outweighs the cost and make.
Yeah, we know that already. We hear at Rev Radio. We're alert at Rev Radio. Oh boy. All right, Jerry, let's get into your favorite part of the program, the hip hop news. Let's go back to Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay. He was talking about Diddy.
I wish you'd play something that I suggested.
That's right.
Katt said
I want
Diddy's laying low.
No, I want you to tell it.
You what?
I said I wish you'd play some of the 17 bit, a couple bits that I just put in our chat. Katt's laying low, and I don't know. I'm not the boss. Go ahead.
Let's see. Yeah, you in the rabbit hole. Yeah, you in the rabbit hole. I'm gonna just mix them up. I'm gonna mix them up, Jeff. I'm gonna set the stage.
I want to let you tell it.
No, you're
no,
the best.
I want you to tell it.
You really are the best. You've proven it here today. As much as I'm proving it, you proven it. You proven it. Yeah, that wasn't the thing. It wasn't. People say that he lost $50 million. No, that's not even close to what happened to this dude. And until you understand what happened to the dude, you don't understand what happened. Like, no, not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times, just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right, because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Ken, I need to know. You hear?
You already said you gotta tell Diddy no. This one here, Jerry, you had shared with me a while back. I thought it was very, very informative of where we're going with the Diddy thing. You know, and it's all connected with you know, Tupac, Biggie. So yeah, I wanted to you had shared this with me like last week. And I went back and listened. I was like, yeah, I definitely gotta put this on the air. So here we go. This is they're talking about the Tupac murder, Keefe D and P. Diddy, how it's connected. You know what I'm saying? This was a damn good breakdown. So let's get into it. You got something to say, Jeff?
No, I'm mellow as a cello.
All right.
27 years. 27 years. For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice. We are here today to announce the arrest of 60-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keefe D, for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
On September 29th, 2023, Dwayne Keith Davis, alias Keefe D, was taken into custody by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police in connection with the murder of arguably the most influential rapper in hip-hop's history. For most, Tupac's murder is shrouded in mystery. However, for those who closely follow news in the hip-hop world, Keefe D's involvement in the rapper's death was an open secret, with the motive behind the hit being caught on camera. So, who is Keefe D? What was his role in Tupac's death? And why did it take 27 years for the former gangster to finally end up in handcuffs? Tupac's killer arrested.
I wish that my son was here and that he could go and lie down in my bed and come out of my room and say, "Mom, what'd you cook?" I miss his being. He was my son, and I miss him as my baby, my boy, who I loved, respected.
This was Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mom, almost brought to tears by the death of her son. She would have loved to get closure regarding her son's tragic death. However, Mrs. Afeni Shakur passed away on May 2nd, 2016, after going into cardiac arrest at her home at the age of 69. And as we will see, only 2 years after her death, the case regarding her son's death would be opened again, leading to an arrest. While Tupac's mom waited for the cops to get justice for her slain son for 20 years, the rapper's fans had to wait for 27 years. Well, the wait is finally over. After 27 excruciating years, one of the men believed to have had a hand in the murder of Tupac was arrested.
Las Vegas Metro Police took Dwayne Keefe D. Davis into custody Friday. He's being held on charges related to the 1996 murder of rapper Tupac Shakur.
Earlier in July, cops raided Keefe D's home in Henderson, Nevada. An affidavit filed to obtain the warrant states that police were looking for notes, writings, ledgers, and other handwritten or typed documents concerning television shows, documentaries, YouTube episodes, book manuscripts, and
Now, didn't they do the same thing to Diddy recently? You see what I'm saying, Jer? You see how they're building it up? Yeah, they're building it up. That's why I enjoy putting, you know, connecting the dots. I enjoy that.
Right on.
Let's continue.
Movies concerning the murder of Tupac Shakur. Apart from the electronics, investigators left the former gangster's home with USB and hard drives, photographs, a copy of Vibe magazine featuring Tupac, and a copy of the Compton Street Legends book, co-authored by Keefe D and Yusuf Jah. According to the warrant, investigators were generally searching for items that would provide evidence of motive or even reveal the identity of Tupac's killer. So what exactly gave Keefe D away? How was he able to evade the cops for 27 years? And will he finally be put behind bars for Tupac's murder? As it turns out, somewhere along the way, Keefe D felt emboldened to shout from the rooftops what happened the night Tupac died. It all started in 2008 when Keefe D was arrested in a PCP ring case. According to reports, the feds had been gathering evidence on the drug ring that Keefe D ran and had enough intel to put him away for 25 years. As cops normally do, they enticed Keefe D to tell them what happened the night Tupac was shot dead.
And we put an ironclad case against him, approach him, and say, here's the deal, Keefe D. We have questions about these murders. If you don't cooperate, you're going to prison for the rest of your life, and so are several members of your family who are caught up in your drug organization.
Well, everyone who was involved had long died, including the shooter. And with the extra motivation on the table, you best believe Keefe D sang like a bird for 3 straight hours.
He confesses to his involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur in Las Vegas in 1996. He tells us that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was in the same car with him, which was the white Cadillac.
After truth-telling on his nephew, the drug case against Keefe D was dropped, and he walked away a free man. For many people, this would have been a second chance at life, a chance to start over again. However, a few years later, in 2011, ex-cop Greg Kading published the book Murder Rap, which highlighted Keefe D's confession in detail. Greg Kading is an author and former Los Angeles Police Department detective. He is best known for working on a multi-law enforcement task force that investigated the murders of Tupac and Biggie Smalls. Apart from that, he was instrumental in getting Keefe D to spill the beans on Tupac's murder. Greg Kading's book sent shockwaves across the hip-hop world as it implicated some of the industry's biggest names. The most notable name in the book, as we will see later, was none other Sean Combs, alias P. Diddy. With the book and subsequently Keefe D's story gripping audiences across the nation and the world, the ex-gangster became envious. In his mind, this was his story. He deserved a piece of the pie for having let the world know what happened to their beloved artist. To add salt to injury, in 2015, 4 years after the book was published, it spun off a documentary. He must have felt jealous that people were making money from what he considered his story. While he got his name soiled and his reputation destroyed for breaking the street code and cooperating with the feds, the cops were making bank. According to Greg Kading, Keefe D resented the fact that someone else other than him was telling the world the story.
If you understand the ego of Keefe D, he resented that somebody else was telling the story other than him.
Well, Keefe D decided to do the unthinkable. He decided to publicly start truth-telling, and this was the beginning of the end for him. He appeared on multiple podcasts where he openly gave the horrific details that led to the death of Tupac. According to Greg Kading, his desire to own the story and tell it himself led him to publicly speak about what happened in 1996.
If you understand the ego of Keefe D, he resented that somebody else was telling the story other than him. And so that whole thing prompted him to then go out and publicly boast about his involvement.
Keefe D appeared on any podcast or show that would have him, and he would repeat his whole routine of exposing the tragic events that led to Tupac's death. So why would he do this without a care in the world? What gave Keefe D the false sense of bravado? Well, as it turns out, that apart from having an ego, there were other factors that led him to snitch on himself. Popular YouTuber DJ Vlad revealed in a recent interview that one of the reasons Keefe D agreed to appear on Vlad TV, a channel with over 5 million subscribers, and share the story, was that he thought that he had immunity from prosecution from the proffer agreement that he made with feds in 2008.
Well, I think that he believed that he had a level of immunity when he did the proffer agreement.
It is important to note that a proffer agreement is an agreement between the feds and a defendant that ensures government attorneys will not use any statements the defendant makes during an off-the-record interview against them in later proceedings. Keefe D should have spoken to his attorney before heading to interviews thinking that he had immunity, while Keefe D's words to the feds in 2008 can't be used against him. What he did not know was that anything he said outside the interview room was fair game and would be used to prosecute him. In an interview, Greg Kading spoke about the proffer agreement between Keefe D and the feds, saying, "The proffer agreement simply said that when you sit down and talk to us, whatever you say that is self-incriminating, we won't use against you. But when he leaves that room, that agreement doesn't apply to everything else in his life," as he erroneously believed. So he began to go out and boast about his involvement in the murder. None of that's protected under the agreement. He has essentially talked himself right into jail. Apart from that, DJ Vlad disclosed that another reason that gave Keefe D the false sense of confidence was that he had been diagnosed with cancer, and he knew that he did not have long to live.
I think at the time he was saying that he had cancer, so maybe he didn't think he had much time to live. So he was just kind of letting it loose at that point.
So confident was Keefe D that in 2019, he published his memoir titled Compton Street Legend, where he provided more.
I see you, Jer. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
Can you show the screen too? Share the screen as well as.
Yeah.
It's all right. If you want to, I'm gonna be
You're
pushing.
good. You're good. You're on there. Yeah. Yeah. We're just doing that little breakdown. That was
Yes,
but
sir.
you see the connection with P. Diddy. You know,
Yes, sir.
you can't help but put all that together. You know, and from my understanding, along with Gene Deal, you know, Puffy been that type of bad boy. You know,
That's right.
all pun intended. He was a bad boy, and he told you. That was his record
He's
label.
just like Epstein, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But also, he's had a video cam in every part of his mansions, so he gets everybody and holds them to it's his way or I'll expose you.
Yeah.
And so now they're all waking up though, since what's her name just won that 30,000 lawsuit in December or November, and now they're all stepping up and bringing their lawsuits they're not criminal. What's the other one? It's criminal lawsuit. It's the lawsuit to sue them for civil.
Yeah.
It's civil. It's civil.
Yeah, she had got like 30 million. She had got 30 million from Diddy.
And
Yeah,
that
man.
opened the door for more people to come forward from back in the past that relates to minors, and there's no 7-year 7 years that they can't. After 7 years, it's wiped off. You can't mess with me. That's what they did. That's what kind of happened to the chick that just got the 30 million. I'm bad on names right now. But it was too far back to be criminal over the 7 years. So that it opened the door for more. That guy that just I'm so bad at remembering names, but this one guy that he's got a lawsuit going. I think he was in there for a year, and but so he's got a criminal. He's got a big old 75-page criminal thing about that they're working on right now. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'd like to see that it's part of the sex trafficking. It's part of probably child trafficking. He's involved in a lot of shit. And he ain't alone. Go ahead.
No, that's why it's very interesting because you can see the connections. You know, it's a distraction. You know that the media are gonna distract you, but it's so damn interesting. You're like, wow, man, I can't get enough. You know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
oh man, I can't. And but there's news that I was trying to. I've got like 4 YouTubes open that talks about Obama taking he left the country to stay away from this shit because he don't want to put his face somewhere that he already messed up.
Yeah.
He's involved. He's involved with Pity.
Yeah. Yeah. I found this one. I'm gonna add them together. Remember the video where Diddy was beating a girl up? This was that cop. His name is Reggie White. He was working for Death Row at that time. So I like
What's his name?
I like Reggie Wright. He was a cop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he was talking about the video. The video when Diddy was in the hotel beating that girl up. So I'm gonna mix that in with the Keefe D.
Okay. Rock and roll.
Okay, Reggie, I know in a previous segment that we talked about how the Cassie and Diddy video leaked. And I know you had expressed that you felt that maybe the government was behind it. Can you elaborate on that a little bit and why you feel that way as opposed to maybe like a hotel employee leaking it or someone within Diddy's own camp?
Well, the hotel is currently been in bankruptcy for a minute and been closed down. I don't think the security personnel was that smart enough to keep a copy of it and hold it. They should have been. I would have, and kept a copy of that tape and said, "Hey, this might be useful for me down the line one day." As y'all see, I leak audio every now and then, here and there, right? So y'all know I keep stuff. And so I understand that that's a possibility that the general manager, security guard, somebody had a copy of that tape. I'm on record that don't believe that Cassie and her attorney had a copy of that tape. I believe that that tape was somehow leaked or was given to the government during that raid. Now y'all will say, well, how in the hell was Cassidy able to explain it word for word? So she had to view that tape somewhere. I agree with y'all on that. I can't explain it. She either have a hell of a memory or somebody was working against Puffy in that house, one of his security guys, somebody for her to get, you know, to see that tape again. I can't explain that. But I do believe that's a law enforcement official. And y'all know I very rarely talk bad about law enforcement. But I do believe someone got a bag, possibly, and leaked that tape. Or, and two, someone on the investigation team that's high up, meaning the top dog, which is usually the U.S. attorney or that agent that's handling the case, who is working closely with the U.S. attorney, decided that, hey, we got to keep making this guy look like a monster. We got a little delay. We should have made an arrest by now. The way we went and used all of the resources, we can't make us look bad. And so let's get this out to keep this case rejuvenated, or maybe so we can get some more victims to come forward, because our case is not as strong as we thought we had, would be my take on what happened. But I do have to acknowledge that the stuff in the lawsuit and matched the tape to the T. But Cassidy would jeopardize losing that $30 million, or her attorney would jeopardize his license if they knew that the only other person that had that tape was somebody that worked in that particular law firm. And that's how that tape got leaked. Because trust me, they have paperwork between the two. When that 30-something million dollars was sent over to her, well, that tape was never supposed to have been leaked if they had it in their possession. So that's why I believe if nothing happened in the next week or two, it was definitely the law enforcement that leaked the tape for whatever reason. And that maybe just so y'all can be like, okay. Because look what's happening to Puffy. No one want to stand next to him. No one is supporting him. All his advertisement deals are bailing on him. And rightfully so. I mean, he got caught doing a coward move. Now, y'all say, well, yeah, you ain't, he ain't the only person that ever hit a woman and did this and did that. Y'all got to understand, kicking someone while they down on the ground like that, you don't do a female. You barely would do that to the ops, to the enemies. Throwing a vase at them, this stuff is it's terrible to do to a female. It's terrible. It's hard to watch and to talk about the things that this young lady had to go through. The only problem I have, and I'll reiterate again, is I wish she wouldn't have hung around for whatever reason for 2 years after that happened. I got to really understand her mindset for that. And for you females or males, but mainly you females that's in that type of situation, get out of it. Get out of it. Y'all don't have to be in a situation like that. You don't have to take that. Do everything you can. You'll find out a lot of family members that you think really don't love you or don't want to be bothered with you. If they feel that you are getting treated and abused like that, they will open up their homes, their bank accounts, or whatever to help you get out of that situation.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that to the pot of the mystery. You know, he gave his explanation of how he think the P. Diddy video got leaked. He said it was most likely law enforcement. Specifically, he said the attorney, U.S. attorney. So
Uh-huh.
that's another rabbit hole to go down.
Big
It's very
time.
oh man, it's very interesting. Very because like I said, Reggie Wright, he was a cop that was involved with death row at the time when Tupac got out of jail and signed with Suge Knight and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. That cop you just heard, he was paid like security, and he kept a lot of things. You notice he said, "I'd have kept the video. I got a lot of audio I leaked." So don't you got to know law enforcement works with law enforcement.
And also, Tupac was trying to, he didn't want to do the gangster rap. He was trying to do about talking about good stuff, about life and stuff. And something triggered him, and he just fell right into um, talking more about gangsta and the shit starting with Biggie, etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, let's finish off with Keefe D. We got about look like about 17, 20 minutes left. So yeah, you're
All right.
listening to Sergeant Miller's First Formation. I hope y'all enjoying yourself, and I hope y'all enjoying the content that we bringing. So yeah.
More details to claims he had previously told the feds. What the ex-gangster overlooked is that the feds are always watching podcasts, waiting for criminals such as himself to incriminate themselves.
But it wasn't until 2018 that this case was reinvigorated as additional information came to light related to this homicide. Specifically, Dwayne Davis's own admissions to his involvement in this homicide investigation that he provided to numerous different media outlets.
Another question you may be asking is whether or not Keefe D will actually end up in jail. Remember, in his confession to the feds in 2008, as well as his admissions and interviews all point to his nephew as the gunman. Well, aiding and abetting in Nevada is when you act as an accomplice in a crime, and knowingly aiding and abetting makes you liable for the crimes you help commit. And you face the same penalties that the principals do. In this case, the shooter could have been charged with murder. Upon Keefe D's arrest, he was charged with 1 count of murder with a deadly weapon and with the intent to promote, further, or assist a criminal gang. Mind you, at the time of Tupac's death, Keefe D was the leader of the Southside Compton Crips gang. The ex-gangster knew that his goose was cooked and that it was only a matter of time before he was arrested. This is evident from his conversation with a cop during his arrest. In his words, he's involved in the biggest case in Las Vegas history and drops the exact date of Tupac's murder.
So what they got you for, man? Oh yeah? Like recent?
Everyone agrees that it's time that Keefe D answers for his sins. In fact, many would want to see him live out the rest of his days locked up. In his book, he shows no remorse for his actions, as he writes. I stand firm on the point that Tupac, Suge Knight, and the rest of those niggas didn't have any business putting their hands on my beloved nephew, Baby Lane. Period. Them jumping on my nephew gave us the ultimate green light to do something to their ass. Tupac chose the wrong game to play and the wrong niggas to play with. Suge and them should have done a better job of protecting that dude because they knew who the fuck we were and the kind of shit we were capable of. Tupac may not have known, but Suge and his peeps definitely knew. Tupac was a guppy that got swallowed up by some ferocious sharks. He shouldn't have ever got involved in that bullshit of trying to be a thug. As he appears before court, the hip-hop world can only hope that justice is served once and for all. Deadly feud. With the whole world now focused on Keefe D, one may ask, who exactly is this man? Since he is not in the music business, he is mostly unknown to many hip-hop enthusiasts, especially the younger generation. Keefe D was born on June 14, 1963, and was an intriguing figure in the crime world with ties to the California-based gang, the Southside Compton Crips. His life story is a mosaic of experiences that span gang affiliations, personal losses, and a significant time spent behind bars. Coming from a family of 6 brothers and 6 sisters, Keefe D's upbringing was shaped by a backdrop of gang culture. His mother died from colon cancer in 1980 when he was only 15. In his 2018 memoir, Keefe D revealed that in 2014 he got the same cancer that killed his mother, which may have emboldened him to come clean on his role in Tupac's death. Fortunately, or unfortunately, he is now in remission, which means that if found guilty, he may live out the rest of his life in jail. Apart from losing his mom to cancer, Keefe D also lost 2 of his brothers, one from cancer and the other was shot in the streets of Compton. The tragic loss of one of his older brothers to a fatal shooting incident cast a shadow on his life journey. His life took a tumultuous turn as he found himself entangled in the world of crime. This path led him to spend over a decade within the walls of both state and federal prisons. His involvement in a range of criminal activities, notably the act of emptying 2 clips into the residence of a rival gang member, reflects the intense conflicts and rivalries that characterized his surroundings. His life in crime started way back in 1971 when he started getting involved with the Crips. As it turns out, it was due to peer pressure, as that was what all the boys in the neighborhood were doing. Later, he got a job working in Compton College. However, the money was not coming as fast as he had hoped, and that's when he turned to selling drugs, which turned out to be what he had expected money-wise. Eventually, the law would catch up to him, and he went to prison for dealing from 1985 to 1989. However, according to him, the time in prison didn't rehabilitate him, but instead made him a hardened gangster. After getting out of jail, Keefe D was soon involved in the hip-hop industry with connections to iconic rapper Eazy-E and former drug kingpin Harry O, showing how powerful he became in the rap industry. Harry O is among the co-founders of Death Row Records, the record label that launched the careers of rap legends Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and Tupac Shakur. He had been behind bars since 19...
Nah, that's another part, Jared. Harry O. See him right there on the screen?
Wait. No, I can't see your screen because you got that. You've got this plane in it. It doesn't show. You're sharing your screen. It's showing your background with you there and me here. I don't see that.
Mm.
So when you click where you share your screen and make sure that you got the video and the sound. You have the sound that I don't.
Yeah, because I'm showing the video right there.
Well, I don't see it. Do you recheck, try to share your screen, stop sharing and then reshare with the audio and the video. And because I don't see it, what you're talking about.
All right, we'll do it right quick.
No, it's okay. We only have a few minutes. Don't sweat it because I got like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's all good.
Well, I don't. Did you must have put this background screen. You added
You
it
see
to
it?
this.
Do you see it now?
No.
Okay,
I
well.
see that we're in an airplane and with desk or something, and you're just a kiss to the right of the middle of it, and I'm 2 over. I don't know.
It's
I
all
have to
good.
work on that with you. I'll work on that with you because I don't know.
Yeah.
See, I got a screen up there too. it shows me
Mm-hmm.
with a mountain and a grassy area and a knoll. But
Mm-hmm.
up there where I'm at, but down here, it's your screen. It's your. So I don't know what you did.
Yeah, we had to work on that. Yeah, but like, okay, to the people watching that's gonna watch it, that's Harry O. He funded Death Row with Suge Knight. He was the money behind Suge Knight, and he was in jail, and he got pardoned under Trump. Trump pardoned him. That's how Snoop Dogg ended up purchasing Death Row. So as of today, Snoop Dogg owns all of Death Row, all the music. So
Who does?
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, he no, because of the way things worked out with the homeboy that's in jail. That was a head of death row,
Yeah,
and so
yeah. You see,
he got a hold of it.
yeah. When Trump pardoned him and he got free, he was able to sign the paperwork with Snoop Dogg to get Death Row. So that's another part of the story that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's continue.
1988 for attempted murder and kidnapping until former President Donald Trump came to his rescue and cut his sentence 7 years short in 2021. Harry O was not the only Death Row co-founder that Keffe D had ties to. As he has revealed multiple times, Keffe D and the infamous Suge Knight grew up together and, as we will see, would end up resenting each other. According to Keffe D, he first met Death Row Records co-founder when he was 9 years old. As it turns out, their relationship dates back to their younger years when they played Pop Warner football together. Keffe D's role as a running back complemented Suge Knight's position as center, providing a glimpse into their earlier friendship and shared experiences. However, this would turn sour when Keffe D met Sean Love Combs, alias P. Diddy, and formerly known as Puff Daddy. The origins of their relationship trace back to a moment when Keffe D lent a lowrider to Usher for one of his music videos. The lowrider, loaned by Keffe D and his associates, bore the brunt of the Usher's dance performance. Luckily, Diddy took responsibility and personally funded the repair of the vehicle, and later sparked off a friendship with Keffe D. At the time, Diddy had founded Bad Boy Records, which was in competition with Death Row Records. However, before drama between the two labels started, P. Diddy and Suge Knight were actually friends. In an interview, Diddy revealed that the Death Row boss would even pick him up from the airport.
Because homeboy, me and him were friends.
Wow.
In a sense. Yeah, he would pick me up from the airport.
Diddy would soon learn that the two music executives were not friends in 1995 during the Second Source Awards when Suge dissed him. To give some context regarding the infamous night, it is important to remember that this was a pretty huge deal in the hip-hop industry, as Source was among the most, if not the most famous, hip-hop magazine at the time. Therefore, the who's who in rap attended. From Nas to Wu-Tang, the hip-hop community had gathered for the award show at Madison Square Garden's Paramount Theater. However, there was one major absentee, Tupac. At the time, he was serving time for a sexual abuse case against him. On November 30th, 1994, while in New York recording music, Tupac was robbed and shot. He alleged that he had been set up by people connected to Diddy's label, which would lead to the feud between Bad Boy and Death Row. The beef escalated the night of the awards when the Death Row co-founder took to stage to accept an award and gave a speech that would ultimately lead to some of the worst events in hip-hop history.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
That was a direct shot at P. Diddy, who had a habit of appearing in his artist videos and music. Tensions were high that night. However, P. Diddy took the stage, and instead of clapping back at Death Row, he extended an olive branch.
I'm the executive producer that a comment was made about a little bit earlier. But check this out. Contrary to what other people may feel, I would like to say that I'm very proud of Dr. Dre, of Death Row, and Suge Knight for their accomplishment.
It seems Diddy wanted peace, or maybe that is what he wanted them to think. Events that took place over the next 2 years saw the deaths of hip-hop's finest rappers, Tupac and Biggie, as Diddy and Keffe D found themselves at the center of it all. Things did not get any better after Tupac came back from jail and released arguably the most brutal diss track in hip-hop, Hit 'Em Up. Apart from that, on September 24th, 1995, the night Suge slapped Diddy at a party in Atlanta at the Platinum House nightclub. Although Diddy wanted to get back at Death Row, he was afraid of Suge Knight, so he turned to the one man who he knew was not afraid of his nemesis, the leader of the Southside Compton Crips. With Keffe D's backing, Diddy started toying with the idea of killing the Death Row CEO. By Keffe D's account, Zip, Combs, and himself discussed the hit on Shakur once at a concert in Anaheim and a couple of times at Greenblatt's Deli on the Sunset Strip. He took me downstairs and he's like, man, I want to get rid of them dudes, man. I was like, we'll wipe their ass out quick, man. It's nothing. Keffe D revealed to the feds. At first, Diddy only wanted Suge dead. However, as Keffe D revealed to the feds, after Tupac made the brutal diss track aimed at Bad Boy Records, he was added to the kill list. When Combs asked about Shakur and Knight, would he always say both of them? A detective can be heard asking Keffe D during the interrogation. He added the boy Shakur on after he made a record, the ex-gangster replied. Before that, it was just Suge Knight, and then after Hit 'Em Up came out, the detective asked, and Keffe D replied saying, yeah, that pissed Combs off. The first physical confrontation between the two camps came in March 1996, when a scuffle broke out at the Soul Train Music Awards in Los Angeles after Notorious Bodyguard brandished a weapon in front of an armed member of Shakur's entourage backstage at the Shrine Auditorium. Although no one was harmed, a few months later, the first casualty of the beef would be recorded. In August that same year, a handful of Southside Crips beat and robbed one of Shakur's Mob Piru Blood's bodyguards at a mall in Lakewood. The assailant snatched a diamond-studded Death Row medallion from the victim's neck. The next confrontation between the two groups would prove deadly and would involve two childhood friends, Keffe D and Suge Knight. The Southside Crips had a regular tradition of going to Las Vegas to watch Mike Tyson fight. On September 7th, 1996, they found their way to Nevada to watch Mike Tyson fight Bruce Seldon. After the fight, Keffe D and the Crips planned to meet in the cafe at the MGM Grand, but Orlando Anderson, alias Baby Lane, his name.
That's in your neck of the woods, huh, Jer?
I went to the fight that night in the casino, watched it at the bar. It was a great fight, and it's tilling bit, what's his face? And then we walked home, me and my girlfriend, and I went to bed, and I swear to God, I was probably, my apartment was two football fields from the intersection of Flamingo and Coble. I lived on Coble. And I heard the shots, bam, bam. I go, what the hell? But I didn't understand. I went back to sleep because I had to get up. But yeah, it was a wild time. And see probably what they were trying to shoot the driver. They were trying to take him out. And that night you could see Tupac sticking his head out of the window and yelling all kinds of shit, etc., like he was, he was gangster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's another conspiracy saying that, yeah, he was alive for 8 days after he got to the hospital. But then there's another rumor coming out. They I don't know if it shows any of him getting buried or cremated, but it says that he snuck away and he's in Cuba.
I heard them
Did you hear that?
conspiracies. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's
But
just like the Elvis, he's still alive,
Which it's been what 27 years?
Yeah, 96. Yeah.
Or 24 years since that accident, since that incident. And they were pissed off at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department because they took so long to try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of rabbit holes, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
But I've had a good night with you, and I'm glad you got. More people need to be conscientious about this shit. Like I said, it ain't Republicans, it ain't Democrats. We're all Americans, and we need things structured in a better constructive way of this way the feds are handling us. Not enough people are crying about it.
Yeah. That's why we talk about it. That Diddy thing. There's a lot of people connected to that Diddy thing, man. And you ain't. It only just scratched the surface. How big this thing could be.
And the people that even what's his name? Jay-Z. Jay-Z's just been talking about he was banging the 16-year-old chick, and then he brought her to fame.
Yeah, Aaliyah. That's another rabbit hole.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Sarge, for bringing me on, and much love, everybody. Stay skate and donate.
Yeah, thank y'all for listening. This has been Revolution Radio, freedomslips.org, freedomslips.net. Sergeant Miller and Jab Hair, we're signing off.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.
Join me in the Brian Ruhe Show on Revolution Radio, Eastern Standard Time, every Tuesday.